stage as the big show is on the radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. Happy whatever today is. What is it? Wednesday, August 11th, 2021. I knew we'd get there. I forgot to look before I said happy. Therefore, I got trapped in the situation where I had to finish the sentence, but did not know how to.
Okay, so you had to look to know what day it was?
Yes.
All right, okay.
It's that kind of Wednesday.
All right.
I forgot my hat this morning, so I'm unkempt.
There's a hat in the studio. It wouldn't match what you're wearing.
Doesn't match what I'm wearing.
So I get
I'd
that.
rather look unkempt than look unmatched. There's a difference. Unkempt, I can pass off as, hey, bro, this is my look, dude. What do you want? It's my style. I can't pass off mismatch hat. That's just lazy.
You're not unkempt, okay? Because if you were unkempt, I would tell you can't go on the stream today. So you're fine. You're fine. I think this is an excuse to touch your hair multiple times throughout the show.
And I will. Of course I will. Look at it.
You watching at home, keep track.
2 so far.
Oh, there was multiples. There's more than 2.
Well, I count like the double swoop is 1. That's just 1, right? Because this is just 1 to get it where it needs to be.
Okay, I count that as
hair a lot on the show.
I count that as 4 because we have better hair than that show for men.
That's correct. I got informed yesterday. So yesterday when the show was over, I got invited to go out to lunch with a couple of the young ladies on the sales staff. They were right around the corner at one of the local watering holes. And they were like, hey, we got some questions about we got some plans. We got some plans for an NFL Sunday tailgate party show that we are working on putting together. Be a 2-hour, 11 to 1 Sunday pregame show. So they're like, hey, we got a couple of questions for you. Can you come by and answer them? I'm like, yeah, no worries. Absolutely. So I went over there to sit and talk with the sales staff a little bit about it. And I'm sitting there, and one of the young ladies says, yeah, I had a sales meeting with a car dealership before I came over here. I had a meeting with a car dealership. And she tells me that one of the representatives of this company listens to the show every day. Listens to the show every day, but Lonzo ... does not like me. Why? I asked, out of nothing less than shock. He doesn't like me? I think I'm the most likable person on ESPN Upstate, to be honest.
How is that even possible that you
That's what I said.
Don't like? Maybe you were he mistook you for someone else.
Nope. And his answer, apparently, when asked why he does not like Rob Brown, apparently the answer was because Rob yells all the time. First off, that's not true. Because at least once a week, I do my master's voice, and there's nothing yelling about this.
Also, we do conspiracy quite often. When we do conspiracy, there's no yelling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't yell during the conspiracy thing.
Does Rob yell all the time?
I'm not getting the music.
Or have you made it up in your head? In your head.
Here's the other thing. If Rob truly yelled, it would be distorted in your speakers, and he rarely peaks.
Rarely.
And when I
broadcast professional.
When I say peaks, I mean the needles.
Correct. I'm a radio broadcast professional, ladies and gentlemen.
There are others I've worked with. You can't control the peaking as well, especially when they're live somewhere.
Yeah. Now, that being said,
how are you going to smooth it over? You're going to go meet them and go, hey!
No, full out sarcastic smartass, the opposite. Oh, hello, John. It's lovely to meet you. Thanks so much for coming out to the remote.
If I sound like I'm yelling, it's because Lonzo turns me up too loud. You can blame it on me. I'm good with it.
So, I have decided to give you a little bit of a ask and ye shall receive, but also be careful what you wish for. In honor of that particular guy, who, by the way, I get it, okay? I get it. I understand. I am not everybody's cup of tea. It does not offend me if somebody goes, dude, I'm just not a fan of your show because you yell too much or you're kind of off the cuff or you're a little too nerdy. I get it. It's not everybody's cup of tea.
Even if they consider you yelling, at least you're not, hey, this is Rob Brown.
I did about a year moonlighting quite literally on a classic rock station. And I had a guy that went on in front of me. His name was TJ. TJ Kelly was his name. And TJ Kelly, when TJ Kelly was in a room, TJ talked like this. Very normal guy. And then he get on at nighttime. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get your Kelly kick here on 93.1 Classic Rock rocking the Emerald Coast.
TJ the DJ.
I didn't think of TJ the DJ. That's brilliant. Oh, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, DJ, FM DJ voice. Every FM DJ. Does Stuntman have that voice? I need to know. Does Stuntman have a DJ voice? I haven't gotten to listen enough because he's on at the same time as me.
Sorry, I'm being questioned by engineering. Let's see. People are actually hearing this on the stream. So yes, engineering, we're good.
It does work. It does work.
There we go.
Thanks, Captain America, Chris Evans down the hall.
No, Stoneman's voice is he just speaks louder.
Yeah.
That's it. That dude is cool. So it doesn't really matter. He has to make up for, in coolness for, lack of height.
Texter says, nice cranberry zombie reference. Well, only the best of 90s alt rock right here on ESPN Upstate. It's getting progressively worse. We should just do the lunch breakdown and start talking sports now.
You want me to hit the...
I put in a bumper that says, we take sports seriously, not ourselves. Do you get it? Do you get it? I've also had somebody tell me that they don't like the show because we need to be more serious. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I would like some comparisons. Name a serious show on this station so we can model ourselves after that show. I guarantee you it's not that show for men because they're just as goofy as we are. They're just more manly about it.
The Lunch Breakdown. Everything you need to know to talk sports with your friends, family, coworkers, and dog, or whoever you spend your lunch break with. Before you sit down to talk sports, make sure you tune in every weekday afternoon at noon for the Lunch Breakdown right here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Nailed it. Item number 1 on the Lunch Breakdown. A number of you Clemsoners called in and told me that you were against the name, image, and likeness rules. Well, if you maintain that stance, you are now taking money out of the pocket of your quarterback, DJ Uiagalelei. He has partnered with Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper, he will be in the Fansville ad campaign throughout the college football season. They did not release the financial terms of the deal, but so far, Uiagalelei will be the only active collegiate player featured in the Fansville commercials, which chronicle the lives of rival fans in a fictional college football obsessed town. If you haven't seen the Fansville commercials, they're all on YouTube. My favorite part, without question, You ever picked out who the sheriff was in Fansville?
It took me a while, and then I heard it was him, and I was like, I knew he looked familiar.
Yep.
I knew he looked familiar. Okay.
The freaking Boz.
It's the Boz.
The Boz is the sheriff of Fansville, and I love it more than I can
tell you. The problem is he looks too much like another actor in the sheriff.
A little bit like Harbour, Stranger Things dude. He looks a little bit like him.
He looks like David Harbour?
Yeah, a little bit.
was thinking more like, well, never mind.
That's why I do that all the time. Anyway, so DJ Uiagalelei, who last month signed a deal with Bojangles, a fast food fried chicken restaurant based in the Carolinas. He signed on to make appearances for them. Now he will do so with Dr. Pepper as well. Uiagalelei said in an interview with ESPN.com, for me, NIL has been a great opportunity to be able to work with brands, to be able to do stuff like this. If I was playing college football 5 years ago, I wouldn't be able to do this. It's a great opportunity for people now to be able to build off their brand, make money, and work on different partnerships like Dr. Pepper. I'm super excited about it. Uiagalelei said that Dr. Pepper approached him with the idea, said he likes Dr. Pepper, enjoys the Fansville campaign, now headed into its 4th season, so he wanted to be a part. He has spent late last month, Uiagalelei taped multiple commercials. The first is scheduled to appear in a little over a week. Uiagalelei said that he only wants to do, quote, brands that are authentic to me. I don't want to be one of those people that do all these different brands. I can have a long-standing partnership with Dr. Pepper. They go hand in hand with college football. And quote, Uiagalelei said Dr. Pepper actually came to him to film the commercials. They filmed the commercials in a hotel right there in Clemson. Uiagalelei was given just a handful of lines to say and stood in front of a green screen to deliver them. It was the first time he had taped a commercial or done any acting of any sort through his career. But if you are anti-NIL, you are taking money out of the pockets of DJ Uiagalelei.
I disagree with you there. If you're anti-NIL, you're just you're not taking.
You ain't doing nothing. You ain't doing nothing.
You're just saying like me. I don't like it.
You ain't doing.
They're
nothing.
still getting paid.
Oh, I said I was going to do it. Okay, let me do item number 2 in a regular inside voice, since I get accused of yelling all the time. Item number 2 on the lunch breakdown, your Atlanta Braves, ladies and gentlemen. A team that I was absolutely deriding just a couple of weeks ago, headed into the All-Star break. The Braves just could not seem to catch a break. They could not seem to get above 500. But today, ladies and gentlemen, your Atlanta Braves now just 1 game back of the NL East League at this point. After all of the moves that they made, Ronnie Acuna goes down to the knee. We knew that. We know that there have been some injuries off the hill. Soroka ends up injuring his Achilles, so he's out for the remainder of the year. They go out, they get Adam Duvall, Jock Peterson from the Cubs, and what is their prize because of it? All of the sudden, they are just a single game back of the Philadelphia Phillies in the NL East. What a story, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it's kind of interesting because it has seemed like nobody really wants to win that division. It has seemed like nobody really wants to jump up. We saw that the Mets had quite the run up at number 1. They have now fallen. They are now a game behind the Braves in 3rd place. The Nationals and the Marlins both basically out of it, 8.5 and 12.5 games out respectively. But your Atlanta Braves, ladies and gentlemen, staring down the Philadelphia Phillies for the lead as we have got just a couple of months left to go in the regular season. The Braves have only a few games directly against the Phillies left on the schedule. They will take on Philadelphia one more time in late September for a 3-game series, but everything else between now and then, it's going to be an outside race between the Braves and the Phillies. But man, what an offensive explosion we have seen. Jock Peterson, we mentioned a few minutes ago, last night, Adam Duvall, a pair of RBIs off of home runs against the Cincinnati Reds that give the Braves a big boost, now just a game back behind the Phillies.
I need my blankie.
You see what you get if I just talk normal? That's what you get.
It's not really talking normal. That's sleepy time with Rob.
Coming up next on the Rob Brown Show, the NPR version. That's not true. We got to get to item number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, your college football coaches preseason poll is out. It is official. And 65 coaches put their votes in the preseason poll. and they feel nothing's going to change. Your top four, want to take a stab at who the coaches picked as the top four, Lonzo? I'll give you a hint.
Do I have to put them in order?
No, you don't. I mean, you will.
Well, maybe.
Well, no, you'll miss the middle two.
Yeah,
you'll flip them.
I'm gonna go. Let's see.
Number one,
Alabama. Yep. Clemson.
Yep.
Oklahoma. And Ohio State.
Not only did you get them, you got them in the right order. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, and the Ohio State University are your top four in the coaches poll released yesterday. Nothing new for Alabama. Have been ranked number 3 or higher in each of the past 12 coaches polls. In fact, last season was only the second time it was ranked outside the top 2 since 2010. The Tide were number 3 behind Clemson and Ohio State, but finished 13-0, knocking the Buckeyes off in the College Football National Championship. The Tide were also number 3 in the coaches poll in 2015. They defeated Clemson 45-40 that year. Of course, Alabama going to be replacing a number of star players. Devontae Smith, quarterback Mac Jones, tailback Najee Harris, offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian left to become the Texas head coach. Saban replaced him with former Houston Texans coach Bill O'Brien. Have fun with that, coach. Anyway, the Crimson Tide expected to bring back 9 starters on defense. Projected starter Bryce Young ranked the number 1 dual threat quarterback prospect in the 2020 ESPN 300. Clemson and Ohio State will also have new quarterbacks. We know Trevor Lawrence is down there in Jacksonville now. Justin Fields up in Chi-Town, the Windy City. The Tigers might be better equipped to replace Lawrence with DJ Uiagalelei, 914 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks, and started a pair of games last year. Ohio State, bigger question marks at the quarterback position, and I think that is likely why Ohio State is behind both Oklahoma and Clemson at number 4. And I frankly, Zoe, I think that's fair. I think it's fair.
Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised they're not a little bit lower, but the rest of the team is pretty stout.
Yeah, so. Number 5 is Georgia. Texas A&M is 6. Notre Dame is 7. I don't take any 3 of those teams over Ohio State today. Georgia's got to prove it. Georgia checking in at 5, I'm fine with. Texas A&M at 6. I think they're a little bit overrated. Notre Dame at number 7, same story. Iowa State at 8. I like that one. North Carolina at 9 and Cincinnati at 10. I was at ACC Media Days. We had a couple of folks on from the ACC. We had Wes Durham on at one point. We started talking about surprise teams in the ACC, and I told him I think that North Carolina is going to shock some people this year. I think North Carolina is going to have a Heisman finalist at quarterback, and how I think that defensively they're going to be better than a lot of people think. In fact, I think it'll be North Carolina and Clemson in the ACC title game. I still think Clemson's the better team. Totes obvi, but Carolina's going to shock some people this year. We will analyze the coaches poll when we come back in just a few minutes from right now. Plus, I told you yesterday, you get them today, and you will, ladies and gentlemen. In the second hour of the show, our NFL preseason divisional projections. We'll get those for you coming up in a little while. Texter says, Rob, to HELL with the NPR voice. I'm out working in this heat, so crank it up and show some energy. Another texter says, oh my God, with a W in it. Stop it. Be Rob the voice. Another says, Hurricane Jeff says, Alabama will not stay in the top 4 past week 1. Miami wins. # shock the world.
It would.
Yeah. Yeah. Trying to come up with a smart-ass joke. I can't. Lonzo said it better than I could. All right, let's take a break. When we come back here in just mere moments, we'll further break down the coaches poll. Where were they right? Where were they rated wrong? Who is rated too high? Who is rated too low? That's coming up next. His name is Lonzo. My name is Rob Brown, and you are listening to The Rob Brown Show right here on ESPN Upstate. Let's see. Keegan asks, is there a Greenville Triumph segment today? There is, Keegan. Aaron Walker will be joining us at 1:20 this afternoon, which is one that I am interested in hearing because obviously the Triumph have been struggling a little bit lately, and they are going to be needing to, they're going to be needing to lean on the vets a little bit. Because, there's a bit of struggle going down right now. Bit of a struggle. I don't think. Here's the thing, Josh. Like, it's not on one guy, right? There's a handful of problems with what's going wrong with the Triumph right now. I've already talked to the guys. I'm like, look, I've got tough questions to ask today. And I think that's part of the reason that they're giving me Aaron is because they want a vet who can answer those.
So what you're saying, you're not going to ask the questions in the NPR voice.
Correct. Maybe that would be more impactful.
Although I'm curious, if you ask a hard question in a soft voice, is it still a hard question? Does it lessen the harshness?
Wouldn't it do the opposite though? Like if I was talking to you like this, like I normally do, it's one thing. But if I was to go, Lonzo, listen, why is this happening? That's more dramatic, right?
Yeah, that's why I don't like going to the boss's office.
Mm-hmm. I know the difference when I'm in trouble or not. Because if the boss calls me and I turn the corner and he goes, "What's up, wild man?" which is what he calls me for some reason.
Maybe it's a yelling.
If I turn the corner and he goes, "What's up, wild man?" like I know I'm good. But if I turn the corner and he kind of goes, "Pull up a chair," I'm like, "Oh God, here it goes. It's been nice working here."
Yeah, you definitely don't want to hear, "Hey, close the door." Golf cart in the next break.
Okay. Speaking of interesting soccer interviews, fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are soccer heads like I am, fingers crossed, we may have a very special guest on the show tomorrow. We are literally, as we speak, in communications with ESPN to have Ann Dark on the show tomorrow. Ann Dark is the voice of international football here in the States. I told Lonzo before the show, you know how every time I play a clip from international soccer and Lonzo gets excited and goes, "Man, it's so much better when there's an excited British broadcaster calling it"? That's Ann Dark. Ann Dark's the guy you're thinking of. That's the voice you hear whenever we play a Team USA great moment clip. Whenever, in fact, I may even pull one and play it in a few minutes out of the database.
I'm not saying it adds authenticity to it, but it adds some gravitas.
Oh yeah, 100% it does. 100%. In fact, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna pull a clip I've got saved here in a minute and play it for you because Ann Dark is the
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do it.
Exactly. No, the special guest is not Lionel Messi, Keegan. Good shot though. Good try. I worked on that. Unfortunately, he was a little busy with Paris Saint-Germain. So instead you get Ann Dark, the voice of American soccer.
Did you just
here in the
say
States.
Paris?
Paris Saint-Germain.
Okay.
It's a soccer team.
Just making sure.
Yep. All right, coach's poll is out. Alabama number 1, Clemson checks in number 2, Oklahoma 3, Ohio State and Georgia round out your top 5. Texas A&M is at 6, Notre Dame 7, Iowa State 8, North Carolina 9, and Cincinnati at number 10. How about Cincinnati? How about the Bearcats jumping up? In the top 10, Lonzo, anybody too high, too low for you? Any surprises in there?
I don't want to be that. Well, I hate preseason polls. So, I mean, it's so hard to say. No, I don't hear any surprises yet. When we get further down, I might.
I'm Cincinnati, top 10? Cincinnati, that's the Bearcats, top 10.
All right, so you're thinking pre-COVID, not during and post-COVID. And because during COVID, everything was out of whack.
Yeah.
So it takes a while to get things back to where supposedly they're supposed to be. So I'm okay with it. Plus, it's an Ohio team. So, yeah, they're absolutely where they need to be.
Look.
I have bias.
Yeah, I know. We've met. We've talked. Cincinnati's defense is good, but like offensively, they were okay last year. Desmond Ritter's going to be the quarterback. He's got some level of name recognition. Big mobile veteran passer, 12 touchdowns on the ground last year. 66% passer. He's good. He's good, but he's not. Cincinnati. Number 11, the Gators of Florida. Oregon at 12, LSU 13, USC 14, Wisconsin 15. The Hurricanes of Miami checking at 16. Indiana, Iowa, Texas, and Penn State round out the top 20. I don't know, man. I think I'm very curious about LSU being a top 15 team. Last year they were horrendous, but we also know that they had a lot of pieces missing. They had a couple of guys sitting out due to the Rona. A couple of guys jumped to the league early. They went from the greatest football team of my lifetime behind Joey B. Joe Burrow to whatever the hell they were last year. 13, I don't know. Do they come back that fast? Does anybody here outside of Mark Ryan believe that Florida's back? After losing both Trask and Pitts, their 2 Golden Boys last year, does anyone believe in the Florida Gators as a top 10 team this year?
From experience, I know that we have some Florida Gator fans out in the audience, so I'm sure those guys believe it. And I'm not quite sure I'm there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's last year they had a really, really good offense. Kyle Trask had similar numbers to 2019 Joe Burrow. Still wasn't good enough. Gators finished 3rd in the SEC, 9th in the nation in total offense. It still wasn't good enough. An absolute disaster in the Cotton Bowl against Oklahoma. Although, as I've said many times, bowl games don't matter. All right. One thing I never hold against a team is bowl game results. I won't. There's 1,000 factors that go into that. Emory Jones got a little experience in the program, 86 passes under his belt for the Gators. He can absolutely run the ball better than Kyle Trask. But are you relying on him to be anything better than a true? I mean, he's not a first-year guy, but it's going to be his first year running the program. Do you believe in that guy? The dude is also probably going to be towards the top of your leading rusher board, man. 4th on the team last year, filling in that role. I don't know. Your offensive line's going to be okay. You got 3 starters back. Does anybody believe in Florida at number 11? I guess it's fine. I don't put Oregon above them. I don't put LSU above them. I don't put USC. I think Wisconsin might be a little low. Wisconsin checking in at 15. I think Wisconsin's going to be a much better team this year. I think I'd put them probably up in that 12-11 range. Miami at 16. Miami is in that list of schools. We talked about it yesterday. And I am sorry, Hurricane Jeff. I love you, dog. I do. I appreciate you texting the show every day. I will believe in the Miami Hurricanes when they finally do it. Every year I get told Miami's back. They're the Mississippi State of the ACC. Now, Derek King, I think, is going to be a stud this year. Derek King, I absolutely think is going to be a stud. But I'll move you up when you earn it, when you get there.
I would have said they're the Tennessee of the ACC.
That's fine too.
Yeah.
That's fine too. They're in the same group. Tennessee, Michigan, Texas, Miami.
We're up and coming.
Yeah.
We're there. This is the year.
This is the year.
This is it.
Teams that fit into that. Tennessee's in it. Miami's in it. Michigan's in it. Do we put Nebraska in that? Nebraska in that group? Every year, I mean, it feels like every year they're like, the ghost of Tom Osborne is back. We're good. Mississippi State's in that group. Every year they tell me it's corner turning time, and it never actually happens. I'll believe in Miami when it happens. I think Miami might be, Lonzo, might be the third best team in the ACC. Maybe. I still think North Carolina's going to be better than them this year. I know Clemson's going to be better than them this year. And that's about it for me. Texas at 19, fine. Penn State at number 20. I got Penn State ahead of Texas. We looked at the over-unders yesterday. In the Big Ten, the only team that had more wins projected by Vegas than Penn State was Ohio State. What was Penn State's, Lonzo? Do you remember? It was like 9.5, wasn't it? It was like 9.5 for Penn State. That's not a bad line in the Big Ten for them. And yet here in the coaches poll, they're all the way down at 20 behind Texas? No chance. They're low. Washington is 21, Oklahoma State 22, UL Lafayette 23, and Coastal Carolina checking in at 24, one spot ahead of number 25 Ole Miss. Jimmy Chadwell's boys. I was watching a second ago. They were on ESPN and they were talking about who in the coaches poll should have been lower and who should have been higher. And one of the guys, I forgot who it was, that I think it was David Pollock, said that Jamie Chadwell's Coastal Carolina boys should have been ranked higher in the coaches poll than they were. Higher in the coaches poll. I mean, yeah, I guess after what they did last year. But one of the hardest things we have to do when we do our previews, Lonzo, is not fall victim to recency bias. Not look at what happened in last year's team and just assume that repeats are going to happen. I love Coastal Carolina. I was all in on Coastal Carolina and the Chanticleers last year. Their story was incredible. They were a blast, but they were an okay offense. Their leading rusher is gone. It's a step back season for Jamie Chadwell. I think the accomplishment for Coastal Carolina is just being mentioned on the coaches poll, to be honest.
See, I get what you're saying about recency bias, but at the same time, you got to look at how well the team has done in the past year or the past couple of years, and then factor in who they lost, who they're getting, all that kind of stuff. So I think you have to factor that in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying to jump back into well, they beat BYU this year, so they should be number 15 on this list. If I asked you to bet a paycheck, are you taking Coastal Carolina over Penn State today?
No.
Texas?
No.
Iowa, Indiana, Miami, Wisconsin, USC, LSU? You taking them over any of those teams?
Played a lot of Big Ten teams. Good for them. And the answer is no.
No, of course not. Of course not.
But if they beat some of those Big Ten teams, will you be completely shocked?
No, I wouldn't be completely shocked. I'm just saying I can't put Coastal Carolina in the top 15 or top 10 just because I wouldn't be shocked if they won a game. I can't do it. Now, Coastal Carolina is going to be in the same spot as everybody else in that, unfortunately, scheduling doesn't look good. They do have one Big Ten team. They got the Kansas Jayhawks in week 2 at Brooks Stadium right there in Conway, South Carolina. But there are other opponents: the Citadel, Buffalo, UMass, ULM, Arkansas State, Appalachian State, Troy, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Texas State, South Alabama, and then the Sun Belt Championship. Now, if they run the table, let's talk. Let's talk. But, so there's your coaches poll. As it stands right now. Who's too high? Who's too low? What's your thoughts? Hurricane Jeff texts in and says, I'm not going to say we're back, but we're miles ahead of most of the teams you just compared us to. You're miles ahead of who? North Carolina? I'm not ready to say that yet. You're miles ahead of Florida? I think you're in the ballpark. I think you could be better than LSU. You could be better than USC. You could be better than Cincinnati. But I mean, I could bump Miami up to maybe like 12 and feel comfortable with it. It's still Clemson's conference. And again, keep an eye out for the Tar Heels this year. Quick break. Back after this. Rob, Lonzo, you. It's ESPN Upstate. '21 Upstate Golf Card is on sale for you right now. 9 rounds of Yeah, I've gotten a couple of people saying the mics are cutting in and out, and I don't know why.
I think it's just
a couple of people saying the mics are cutting in and out. I just said that. Me? No. Why? I think it's just. Oh, we're caught in a time loop now.
no.
We've been Dr. Strange.
I just said that.
Me?
No. I think it's just.
Yell.
Oh, we're caught in a time loop now.
I
I
wonder.
just said that. Me. I think it's just.
Yeah.
We're caught in a time loop now. I just said that. Me.
Why? Why? She ran away. Why? Why? Where's that coming from? Oh, God.
Well, they wired that computer to to the computer that's supposed to be that computer. So I'm like, why is that in? Yeah, okay. Well, we're learning stuff.
We are.
And so the question is, we're having some stream problems. People are complaining about the voice breaking up. Maybe it's just your computer because we just listened to it.
I've
It's fine.
gotten like 4 people telling me that. It's not that.
It's not us, man. It's them.
No, we never do anything wrong. Except
Right.
sing Del Shannon's "My Little Runaway" on the stream in a audio loop that we created.
The loop was freaking me out a little bit. The singing was fine. The loop, not so much.
844-477-3776, 844-GSP, ESPN is the number. So we took a look at the college football coaches poll. Alabama number 1, Clemson checks in at number 2. And you know what's interesting? And I guess I'm glad to hear it. We really haven't had any kickback, right? In years past, I'm assuming that there'd have been some level of issue with this, right? Like you're looking at, I think my argument goes, a lot of the reasons that people have Clemson behind Alabama, it's not like Alabama's not dealing with the same issues, right? Oh, you lost your starting quarterback. Started Alabama. And I would make the argument that Clemson, Lonzo, has done a better job at replacing their starting quarterback than Alabama has. Alabama lost their Heisman Trophy wide receiver and Najee Harris, who I think was the best running back in the draft this year. Lost them both. Have to refill those spots. Clemson's done the same, but they get a couple of big names back. Lynn J. Dixon is going to be back in the backfield, a guy with some experience. Justin Ross, who, by the way, if you missed it, Justin Ross was medically cleared to return to the football field. Our buddy Owen Watterson a couple of days ago asked Dabo Sweeney, what does Justin Ross need to do to get back on the field? And Dabo's answer was, he's already done it. He's already shown me he gets his spot back. Which is great. But I think if you look top to bottom, there's fewer questions. There are questions in the same spot as Clemson, but there's fewer questions about Alabama. I don't think there should be some enormous gap. And I mentioned a minute ago the premise of recency bias. You don't want to fall victim to recency bias. But after seeing how Clemson's season ended last year and seeing how Alabama's season ended last year, it doesn't surprise me, even though they have a lot of question marks in the same places, does not surprise me Alabama's at number 1.
I think probably the only people who are surprised are probably Clemson fans, and that's it. Because Alabama is almost always seems like they're ranked number 1 in the preseason poll. So it's not really that big of a deal. You know, you play it out, you get to the playoff, and you're probably going to face them because you've done that quite a few times. So, I mean, if you're 2, who cares?
Yep. You ain't wrong.
I will say that it seems, and I don't know about Alabama as much, but I do know about Clemson and the fact that a lot of their players get playing time and get a lot of playing time. So it isn't like someone steps into the position completely green and in, very first game being the first time out on the field in front of the fans. They get so much playing time. They've got a ton of experience already.
Alabama's missing a couple of pieces. But there aren't a ton of questions. Offensive line is one. They lost 3 guys to the draft. Alex Leatherwood, first-round pick of the Raiders. Landon Dickerson, first-round pick of the Eagles. Deontay Brown, first-round pick sixth-round pick for the Carolina Panthers. Dickerson went second round to the Eagles. That is 3/5 of your offensive line, including your left tackle, most important spot. You're bringing back 2 starters, but Evan Neal. By the way, Lonzo, this is Evan Neal. This is an offensive lineman.
Okay, I was not expecting that.
That's an offensive lineman.
I thought he was going to make the jump, but
that's 47 inches, I think I read.
Yeah, he's splitting his legs in between two. That's pretty agile for a big dude.
That's insanity. Dude does a high jump, and he lands with his right foot on a 47-inch box ahead of him and his left foot on a 47-inch box behind him. Good luck. Look, it's a good looking depth chart for offensive line for Alabama, which is the big question. It's the big question. But I got no issue with them getting the nod. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. We'll talk one more segment of college football coming up to end the first hour of the Rob Brown Show. Hour number 2, we're going to get some NFL talk in here. We're also going to get Aaron Walker from the Greenville Triumph. Triumph have not been getting the results they've been looking for the last couple of weeks. We'll ask Aaron about that. Then we'll give our NFL preseason divisional predictions in the next hour. Third hour is a free-for-all. I'm Rob Brown. I yell a lot. Lonzo's over there. He does not. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate. I think you broke your motorcycle, Lonzo. I think you broke your motorcycle. Harley Davidson of Greenville is not only the largest Harley dealer of both new and pre-owned Harley Davidsons in the area, but they are also arguably the easiest dealership in the area to work with. And I'm talking in general. They are fantastic. Listen here. If you are in the market for a new Harley Davidson, if you're looking to trade in, you are going to get a better NADA value on your trade up towards a new 2021 Harley than you will at any other dealership in the area. And if you're looking to buy pre-owned, maybe you're sitting, I want to get on the back of a Harley. I want to be able to ride the most beautiful riding on all of the country here in the upstate. But I don't know that I want to commit to a new bike. That's fine too, because they have the largest pre-owned selection of any dealership in the area with over 150 models ready to go for you. It's our friends at Harley Davidson of Greenville. You can visit them in their beautiful showroom at 30 Chrome Drive, or you can check them out online at upstateharley.com. Upstateharley.com. It's our friends at Harley Davidson of Greenville.
Someone mashed up Dragon Ball Z and Scooby-Doo. Shaggy Ball Z. I can't wait till later to hear the sound on it, but I just shared it on the Upstate Pulse. They did a great job, at least the visuals. Although Scrappy's in there, I don't know why you would do that, but still, and he's not the villain.
Will you put this on in the monitor sound-wise?
Okay, I know where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's in dark. We're gonna have what, like 3 minutes when we come back? 2?
Let me cipher. Oh. 2 and change.
Okay.
Sometimes keeping myself in check and not making fun of things because we're on the stream is very difficult.
Yep.
I had my mouth open to do it, and I stopped myself. It's called restraint. All right, so you went more than 2 on that. That's, I mean, I think you're averaging 4.
Oh, yeah. It's at least 2. It's usually 3 or 4. Yeah. I gotta feel that the swoop's in the right spot. Once I feel it, then I'm good.
Is the swoop there before you do that, though? Is that how
the reason I have to do it is because it starts to do
so that's how the swoop comes into play.
Yeah.
Okay.
So once it's down, then you got to go up. And on top of that, because I didn't put anything in it, like I have hair over here that's supposed to be over here, because my natural part is not where I part it. So I have to fight.
Okay.
I just got the mic right in front of my dumb face there.
So if you were to come in without doing anything, what would it?
This.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
This is get out of the shower, dry it. Well, I mean, if you count running a comb through it twice as doing something.
I would look like Cousin It.
If I don't do anything, it'll go it'll part itself right down the middle, and it will be very 90s, like Brad from Home Improvement look.
Okay. All right.
I'll do that tomorrow. I'll just dry it off after shower.
I don't know if it's good or bad, but I know exactly what you're talking about. So all right, according to TMZ, Lenny Dykstra wants to fight Aaron Carter.
The next Barstool fights.
I'm going to bleep, take this mother bleep apart piece by piece, says Lenny Dykstra.
New segment. I want Lonzo to read the most profane speeches in movie history, but just say bleep instead of cuss words.
I don't feel comfortable doing that.
I know you wouldn't. I wouldn't make you do that.
I could just have a 1K tone over here and say watermelon every time.
All right, wrapping up the hour tomorrow on the show. If you missed it earlier, going to, fingers crossed, have Ann Dark on the show. Will you let me, can I get the volume over here? If you don't know who Ann Dark is, ladies and gentlemen, it's this guy.
Plays it deep, Saife with a header. Howard gratefully claims it. Distribution, brilliant. Landon Donovan, there are things on here for the USA. Can they do it here? Cross, and Dempsey's denied again, and Donovan has scored! Oh, can you believe this? Go, USA! Certainly through. Oh, it's incredible. You could not write a script like this.
And, of course, the iconic sounds of the Vuvuzelas accompany the call of Ann Dark, the 2010 World Cup. Landon Donovan and the United States score the goal of U.S. century during the 92nd minute. The U.S. had to have that to move forward into the next round. They would win that game 1-0. And if that call from Ann Dark doesn't get you hyped, Lonzo, you're dead to me. All right, it's not that dramatic, but it should.
I'm just hoping he says, "Great question, Rob," or something like that, so I can pull that and we can just play it every single time.
Now I got to come up with some actual great questions instead of just going, "Hey, Ann, remember when you called That Lanovan goal, that was awesome.
That was so cool.
So I'll let you know, we should have Andart tomorrow in the 1 o'clock hour. We got 2 hours left, though, and we start those when we come back. Rob Lonzo, it's ESPN Upstate.
Oh, my gosh. Like how that was supposed to not have vocals in it, but it does, and I'm okay with it. So I love the vocals.
Whoa.
QC Kinetics in the first break.
Okay.
So I've had the same intro music on the Upstate Pulse since the beginning. I had no idea where I found it. Last night on Stargirl,
Found it?
the song started playing,
Really?
and everyone in the room just went. And then Raven, she recognized it immediately. I don't remember the names. Like, okay, that's what it is. Okay.
Our numero dos of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is ESPN Upstate. Rob, Lonzo, you. Join us, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP. ESPN is the number. The Ingles Market text line is open for you as well, 71307. 71307 is the number. If you want to text in, you can also tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word, Lonzo on WORD. You can also tweet everybody at the show by tweeting at ESPN Upstate. Go to our website, facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. There you can get news and information about what's going on with the station, some of the shows that we are doing and have upcoming, et cetera, plus breaking news and all that is available there. You can also go to our website, espnupstate.com, updated every single day with the most breaking news that impacts you as a South Carolina sports fan. So let's get this story in real quick. because we've got Aaron Walker of the Greenville Triumph joining us coming up in the next segment of the show. And then we start talking NFL preseason divisional prognostications. But I wanted to get this story in from Mark Schleybaugh. This broke a couple of days ago, but I wanted to do a little research. I wanted to read a little bit about it, get some more thoughts composed on it. The NCAA changing the way it handles major infractions cases. It is being adjudicated by the Independent Accountability Resolution Process, the IARP, as it shall be referred to for the remainder of this conversation. They are doing so in an attempt to speed up what they have considered to be a unnecessarily protracted process so far. The IARP, the Independent Accountability Resolution Process, that is the process the NCAA uses when they believe that there has been some sort of impropriety taking place. It was launched in August of 2019. Lonzo, since 2019. How many cases do you think that they have adjudicated since 2019? Stab in the dark.
2.
That is too many. In true Lonzo, NCAA fashion, they come up with the IARP in order to make sure that they get violations adjudicated properly, and in 2 years, they have accomplished that precisely no times.
I am curious, do they have a staff for this? Is this because if I could work for 2 years and do absolutely nothing and get paid for it, I'm down for that.
Many of my bosses would tell you I've already done that. Launched in 2019, the IARP has yet to fully adjudicate a school case. On Wednesday, the Division I board of last Wednesday, the Division I board of directors approved immediate changes that will allow the IARP's complex case unit to accept the investigative work of the NCAA enforcement staff, quote, unless the unit can demonstrate a compelling reason why additional investigation is required. So the Division I board of directors approved immediate changes that will allow the IARP's complex case unit to accept the investigative work of the NCAA's enforcement staff unless the unit can demonstrate a compelling reason why additional investigation is required. So basically what the IARP does in this case, or what this does for the IARP, is turn them effectively into an independent accountability oversight committee. The oversight committee, which is expressed, and there already is an oversight committee in the NCAA. Some of you are going, wait a minute, isn't there one of those already? Yes. According to an NCAA release late last week, the oversight committee, which has expressed concerns about the delay in the resolution of cases referred to the independent process, determined that much of the delay is the result of efforts by the complex case unit to reinvestigate cases the enforcement staff thoroughly investigated. Accepting the enforcement staff's results will speed the process significantly without compromising the goals of the independent accountability resolution process, committee members think. What they're saying here is that the oversight committee investigates whenever they believe there is a violation of NCAA rules. The oversight committee steps in and goes, okay, here's the details, here's the facts, and we think that this case is blank. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever. And then there is the complex case unit. And the complex case unit, in many of the bigger the bigger violations cases, will jump in and go, well, hold on. Let's take a second look here, right? Let's look a little closer. Let's dig a little deeper and see what we can come up with here. They will reinvestigate that case, and they will then spend weeks, months figuring out if they believe that something was missed or if the finding of nothing being done wrong was accurate, whatever their issue is with the case, which pushes everything back. Schleybaugh points out one case where this happened. there was an infractions case involving former Memphis basketball star James Wiseman. It was the first case accepted by the IARP on March 4th, 2020. 5 other cases related to federal investigation into bribes and other corruption in college basketball, including NC State, Louisville, Kansas, LSU, and Arizona, were also accepted by the IARP over the next year. The only case related to the federal investigation that has a hearing scheduled. We haven't even scheduled hearings yet for these cases that were accepted in early 2020. Is the NC State case. The IARP will decide whether violations occurred and what penalties, if any, will be imposed. The decision is final, and there is no appeals process. The Division I Board of Directors also voted to allow case timelines to be developed and published for each IARP case to, quote, provide transparency and improve credibility. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey is amongst those who have criticized the NCAA for not producing more timely results through the IARP. At SEC Media Days a few weeks back, he said, quote, those accused of violations, and remember, LSU, out of the SEC, is one of those schools. Those accused of violations deserve a fair and timely outcome, and those who compete against those accused of violations deserves that same fair and timely outcome. Cases involving Arizona, Kansas, Louisville, and NC State had been thoroughly investigated by NCAA enforcement staff and resulted in detailed notices of allegations. That wasn't the case with LSU, according to records released by to ESPN by the university last week. The case involving the LSU's men's basketball program includes, quote, alleged violations involving at least 13 prospective student athletes and a projected 75 individuals who may have knowledge of and or involvement in the alleged violations in the case, end quote. That is according to a letter from external investigator Nicole Lamb-Hale and LSU compliance director Bo Bonson. They noted that enforcement staff had interviewed only 18 people before the case was referred to the IARP. Lamb-Hale and Banson wrote in the December 18th letter, quote, the scope and scale of this investigation are broad and include allegations of significant infractions of NCAA bylaws, many of which allegedly occurred in 2017 and 2018, and as such are based upon stale or incomplete facts that must be validated by CCU. According to the documents, the complex case unit was scheduled to complete its LSU investigation by July 31st and then issue a notice of allegations within 60 days. Very convoluted story. What it comes down to is that the NCAA has about 3 different committees that go looking into these alleged violations. And they don't work well together. They don't work well together. All right. You got one group that does the initial investigation, and then they'll come out and say, we found this, this, and this. And then a second one that will come out and say, well, hold up. No, we disagree. You missed this. You included this, but you shouldn't have. There's this, there's that, there's this, that, and the other. Then they got a third group. If the case is serious enough, they got a third group that will jump in and issue their own filings, and all of them work on different timelines, and all of them work with different resources. So you end up where you've got this case with 5 different NCAA basketball programs accused of massive infractions and violations. Here we are a year and a half later, and not only do we not have anything in terms of resolution, in terms of wrapping up forget punishment, wrapping up the case. A year and a half later, we got none of that. And not only do we got none of that, but we got multiple branches of the NCAA's, compliance office that are all arguing and fighting about how this whole thing should be handled. The NCAA finally says, okay, we think we're going to try to streamline this a little bit. There is a reason that the other day when Mark Emmert said we need to decentralize the NCAA, did you notice that literally no one disagreed with him? Did you notice that literally no one disagreed with him? And then when we started talking about the mega conferences with the SEC leading the way a couple of weeks ago, with Oklahoma and Texas joining the fray, NCAA, This is why all of us are going, yeah, we could see you go away and not care. It blows my mind, Zoe, that you could have these 5 schools, including LSU, being accused of like 83 different violations. Their case has been on the table for a year and a half, and there is nothing to show with it other than complaints from attorneys going, you interviewed 18 of the people. It took a year and a half. You yourself have said there's 75 people involved, and you've gotten around to interviewing 18 of them and issuing no statements on it.
Who gets to a case faster, the NCAA or the Supreme Court? I think that's probably the question.
Golly. Texter, I want you to know that I can't read your text because there's like 8 different FCC violations in it, but I recognize it, I see it, and I agree with you. Here, I'll read the text. You ready? Beep. The NCAA.
That's profound.
It is, and accurate. Look, here's a problem I have. The NCAA is like so many government agencies in that the spirit of what they do at surface level is good. It's good. So right now, I am worried about what happens to college football when we get mega conferences, and these mega conferences are making their own rules and doing their own thing. All right? I think we're going to go back to what college football was like in the 60s when it was basically just a bunch of conferences and then some newspaper guys decided who was the best team. I think we're on our way back to that.
Except in this case, it'll be a blogger. That will make the decision.
Yeah, the newspaper dudes are done. The bloggers get to decide who the national champ is. I think we're on our way back to that.
Or the influencers will decide.
We're influencers. I think the college football scope is on its way back. It's on its way back to a regional style game where I say regional. The conferences are going to be nationwide, but you get what I'm saying here. I think we're on our way back to a regional style game where a bunch of bloggers or influencers or newspaper writers or worthless sports talk radio hosts will vote on who's the best team at the end. The good thing about the NCAA has been in the past the fact that the NCAA at least centralized it a little bit and created the platform over which we could build our national playoff brand. And I don't know if we'll be able to do that anymore with 3 or 4 mega conferences. But then I look at stories like this where the NCAA can't get the basics of basics right. And it's like, okay, this is why. This is it. This is the reason. 844-477-3776. Let's run to a break. When we come back here in Uno Momento, Aaron Walker of the Greenville Triumph joins us. They have not been getting the results that they have been looking for. Why? We'll ask Aaron Walker that when we come back on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
You see Kinetics?
He is calling us. So.
Okay.
Our friends at QC Kinetics want you to be able to live your life without pain. You know how you feel when you get out of bed the day before? Maybe you did some swimming or some walking or some golfing or some bowling. You get out of the bed the next day and you go to stretch and it's just like, oh, my lower back. Or you get up the next day and you go and you lean down to turn on the shower and you're just like, oh, my hips. Oh, gosh. My knees, I torqued my knees too much on that drive. Man, it's tough to hit it 310 all day and not hurt the next day. It happens, right? QC Kinetics doesn't want you to be afraid of those moments. QC Kinetics doesn't want you to be afraid to go golf, to go bowl, to go hang out with your grandkids and not have to feel like you are like you're going to regret living your life the next day. QC Kinetics offers non-surgical regenerative therapies. They don't cut you, slice you, dice you, give you drugs, put you down on an operating table. No, they give you the therapy right there in the office with Dr. Richard Schaefer, MD. It is an outpatient style, so you get it, and then you're back to your day-to-day life. You're right back out there doing what you got to do. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. You want to learn how the science works, and it does, go to QCkinetics.com, QCkinetics.com to read all about the science there. And give them a call at 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. Mention the Rob Brown Show and get that first consultation for free. It's our friends at QC Kinetics right here in Greenville.
His name is Lonzo.
Galale. It's like he's close enough that you know he can do it. Kobe. Nailed it. Didn't even touch the rim that time. Nothing but big. Hi, Miss Lisa. Oh, you said that like 30 minutes ago, but hello anyway. I want this one.
Nice.
Oh, I think it's fair. Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised.
Is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
It would. How do I get started with?
A brown chip. Hey, Aaron, we got about a minute left in this break, and then Rob will be right with you. Yeah, hang on.
Now's the time to make your team's fantasy football draft party at Twin Peaks. Contact your local Twin Peaks today to take advantage of the sweet draft party packs for the whole league. Visit our site at twinpeaksrestaurant.com/fantasydraft for more info.
Would. Yeah. Yeah. Trying to come up with a smart ass joke. I can't. Lonzo said it better than I could. Wants to jump. Excited. Big show is up. And away we go.
Start your job today. AutoZone.com. With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, banking with Capital One is like.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Keegan, it's probably the only thing from Popeyes that I don't recommend to other people is the red beans and rice. I can make better red beans and rice at the house. In fact, I probably am going to next Monday, as a matter of fact. I forgot I had 2 bags of Camilla's red kidneys to make red beans and rice until you said something about it on Twitter. And now next Monday, I think I'm going to make a big pot of them.
So one way to prove it, you got to bring them into the studio,
I'll make red beans in studio.
and then we'll partake of them on the air.
It's like to make red beans to get them right. It's like a 6 or 7 hour process. So I'd have to be up here at like 8 in the morning.
No. I mean when they're done. I'm talking about finished product.
Oh, I got you. Just bring some in the next day.
I just want free food.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Rob Brown, the great Lonzo, across the board from it to the phone lines we go. And we welcome in a young man we've had the pleasure of talking to on the air a handful of times. We do it again today, every Wednesday at 1:20. We catch up with our friends over at the Greenville Triumph, a midfielder for the Triumph, number 8, the program number 1 in the heart. Mr. Aaron Walker joins us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Aaron, how we feeling, big fella? Good to have you back on the air, buddy.
Feeling good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course, man. Of course, always. Let's jump right into it. So last weekend, tough loss. You guys had a very solid first half. Came out, it looked firing in the second half, but Tormenta just seemed to have the number. They score a couple of goals in a 3-minute stretch late in that game to take a 3-1 victory. And what is a bit of a shocker, I think, to a lot of Triumph fans, Aaron, they win the season series 3-1. Obviously we want to keep positive because there's a lot of football left on the schedule ahead. But what happened in that game? How did Tormenta find a way to break it open in the second half?
Yeah, I think obviously a disappointing result for all of us and for the fans too. We know we're better than that. But referring to the game, I think they've given us their best games all year, and I think we got to understand that. We're going to get every team's best game coming off of a championship. Teams want to knock off, the reigning champ, and we have to be prepared for that. And we've tried to be prepared for it, but there's been little moments in games that have punished us. And I think, in the past we've kind of been able to get away with it. And this year, teams are doing their best, and these little moments they're putting them away. And we got to start getting back to who we are, which is kind of the first 2 seasons we were a defensive powerhouse, and I think that we need to kind of roll back and just kind of figure out, hey, like, how do we get back to that and start to move forward in that direction. So, like I said, Tormenta came out in the second half. We had a good start, but Tormenta came out in the second half, and they took it to us, and we need to stop having those kinds of starts. We need to get on the front foot and stay on the front foot. So.
Sure. Aaron Walker, midfielder for the Greenville Triumph, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. And you talked a little bit about identity, which I find interesting. One of the things I was having a conversation with some of the guys in the riot after the last game was that for the last couple of years, and you just said it spot on, this is a team that kind of had the prowess of being a very, very good defensive team that did not surrender a lot of goals. But you started off this year, Mario Lomas was absolutely hot. You guys were scoring goals in bunches earlier in the year. Did that sudden offensive explosion earlier in the year, do you think that maybe that just changed the mentality of the team a little bit to, hey, we're going to score a lot of goals and we can be a little bit more relaxed on the back line? Or what do you think's been causing that?
Maybe a little bit. I think we've been definitely focusing on trying to get more numbers forward and joining the attack. But, I think we need to just understand that we need to be a little bit more balanced in the way that we, approach the games, and we can start to, like you said, get back to who we are. So I don't know if that really has anything to do with it, but we have been throwing a few more numbers forward, trying to get a few more goals. But I think if we just understand, look, we know who we are. Let's just play to who we are, and we can start to get on the right track in that direction. So we'll figure it out. Every season is not the same, and we know that each team changes every year. So maybe we're not the same team this year. Maybe we're not the defensive powerhouse. Maybe we do focus on scoring more goals. Who knows? But we need to figure it out, and we're doing that right now. So it's a long season. We got to get right. We got to get hot at the right time. There's no need to panic. We're going to figure it out here soon. So.
Aaron Walker, the Greenville Triumph, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. No need to panic. And look, I agree. It's like you said, we got a lot of football. We've still got 3 games left in the months of August, 4 in September, 5 matches in October. So plenty of football left to be played. You're on the road coming up this Sunday, Fort Lauderdale CF down in Lauderdale. Let me ask this in 2 parts. Number 1, how does your team go about changing the mentality, taking themselves out of the spot that you're in now, where the results just have not been coming the way that you are used to them coming? And does it help to be on the road, maybe to switch up the scenery? I know a lot of, for instance, I've had baseball players in the past tell me that sometimes getting out of your home park and just seeing the game differently from another perspective can switch. Do you think that is going to help? And how is your team going about getting ready to shift that mentality to getting those results back the way that we're used to them?
Yeah, I think it can help. Going on the road sometimes is helpful. You can hone in a little bit more. And I think in the past, I could be wrong, but I believe we could even be stronger on the road in terms of our record. So, but it starts in the training pitch. This week we're focusing on, staying tuned in for the whole time and figuring out, how we can protect, our back line and how our back line can protect our goalkeeper a little bit more. We need to focus on getting clean sheets again, which has kind of been always our fallback and what we take pride in. And I think if we can kind of do that, building from the back to the front instead of, maybe the risks that we've kind of been taking, I think we can be fine. And we've seen so many good moments from this team throughout the year, and there's nothing to be discouraged about. I just think, like I said earlier, teams are taking their chances when they're getting them. I don't think we're giving up too many opportunities per game, but we're getting punished for it. So if we can just start to eliminate those opportunities, build from the back to the front and just be sturdy in our performance from the first whistle to the last, I think we're going to figure it out here very, very soon.
Aaron Walker, midfielder for the Greenville Triumph, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Soccer, obviously, a lot of our listening audience, Aaron, are college football fans, American football fans. And when they think offense and defense, obviously they're two separate entities, right? Like it's binary. You've got the offense over here, the defense over there. But the ability to shift back and forth from offense to defense on a soccer pitch, it takes a ton of communication, takes a ton of chemistry. It's knowing and trusting your guys are there at the right time. How is the communication on this team at a spot when the wins aren't necessarily coming like y'all have been used to the last couple of years? What has changed, if anything, about the communication specifically between shifting between defense and offense when you guys are trying to create and transition, et cetera?
Yeah, I think we've kind of tried to focus a little bit more about can we just be more specific and precise in our wording? Can we, instead of having these long-winded, explanations or conversations, or even in the middle of the game, like you're saying, these sort of things we're saying to each other on the field, can we just be more precise and be kind of all on the same page with one language? Because like you said, with American football, you're on offense, maybe you punt, maybe you score, whatever it is, but then you're back on defense. So the transition is not the same. You got to kind of figure it out in the middle of the game. And there's a lot of ebbs and flows to that. And if we can all kind of just figure out, hey, this is what we want. Let's be precise. Let's be upfront and blunt about what it is we're doing. That way we're all on the same page. We can kind of have something to fall back on when we're in transition and when we know we're scrambling or, giving up an opportunity. It's all hands on deck. He knows his role, et cetera. So if we can fine tune that, like I said, man, I really like where we're at. We're still sitting third. Obviously we're used to being at the top of the table, but we're not playing nearly our best football and we're still in a good position. So once we start giving teams less chances and we start being a little bit more solid all the way around, I think we're going to be really, 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 flying. So.
Aaron Walker, midfielder for the Greenville Triumph, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. And you mentioned earlier in one of your answers, Aaron, and I think there's something to this, right? I mean, it's the old Ric Flair adage, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And when you are the team holding the championship belt, everybody's coming at you knowing that to take that championship belt from you, they've got to get the 3 count on you to stick to the wrestling adage. 2 questions. A, are you a wrestling guy? And B, as the Ric Flair, as the team holding the belt, knowing you are going to get every team's best chance, does that change the way that you guys attack games, knowing that you're going to see teams be more aggressive towards you than you might when you watch film of them playing other opponents?
First of all, I wouldn't say I'm a big wrestling guy, but I am a big Ric Flair guy. So I'll just get that off the chest.
Love it.
I think the more we go into games and we think about external things, it's more distracting. I think we talk about it after the games, like, look, we're going to get these teams' best performances. They want to knock off the champion. But I think when we go into games and we're just focused on what we're doing and who we are is when we're our best. I think we need to kind of eliminate all the thinking about other teams, how they're going to, approach this, blah, blah, blah. I think we just need to focus on who we are because our team is more than capable. And we need to just simplify our game and just enjoy it and be who we are. And I think we're going to be fine doing that.
We are talking with Aaron Walker, midfielder for the Greenville Triumph, on the road this Sunday, taking on Fort Lauderdale down in Florida. Give me thoughts in anything that Triumph fans that are watching this game on Sunday might see that is different. Any changes you guys are looking to throw tactics-wise at Fort Lauderdale to maybe, sometimes you just need a spark, right? Different guy, different place, different formation, etc. Anything that you can tell us that we might see differently on the pitch on Sunday?
Well, I haven't worked too much on that side of it just yet because it's still kind of early in the week for us. But I think there will be some changes in the lineup. I don't know if we'll have the same formation. It might be 4-4-2. It might be 4-4-1-1. But I think the focus for us is getting back to who we are, like I said, and just being sturdy in the back. We want to get back to keeping clean sheets. But it's a good pitch to play on. It's really big. The ball moves nicely. It's good grass, different than kind of a slow turf. So it should be a high-paced game, an open game, and I think we're going to get some guys in some really good spots to score some goals, and I think if we take those opportunities, we're going to have a really good game.
Aaron Walker, midfielder, Greenville Triumph. This Sunday, they will be on the road taking on Fort Lauderdale. The week after that, another Sunday kick, August 22nd, at 7 p.m. against Richmond. And tickets for that match, if you go to greenvilletriumph.com, only $8.64. You're in the building to watch the Triumph get back to Legacy early. Aaron, my man, always good to talk to you, buddy. I appreciate the time. Good luck. Go get us 3 more down on the road at Fort Lauderdale. We'll see you back up in Legacy early in a week, pal.
I appreciate it. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.
You got it. That's Aaron Walker, midfielder, Greenville Triumph, here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. When we come back, Lonzo and I start giving you our preseason divisional predictions. Again, thanks again to my man Doug Irwin and everybody at the Greenville Triumph. Again, go to greenvilletriumph.com. Tickets to their match on August 22nd are just $8.64. $8.64 for life, and they're giving you $8.64 tickets when they take on Richmond on August 22nd. Go to greenvilletriumph.com to pick those up. I'll be at that match. I'd love to see you at Legacy early. Come out and say hi. All right, back after this on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. I'm going to grab some water. BRB.
This upcoming postseason. ESPN's Chris.
Well, that's not going to work.
The motto for world-class competition has always been faster, higher, stronger. It's the same for Navien, makers of condensing tankless water heaters. Faster to install and set up. Higher performance and efficiency to provide endless hot water. Stronger with the industry's strongest warranty. All because of the copper-free stainless steel heat exchanger.
You have a Prisma in the next break.
Prisma.
So I did go home and pre-order that game, by the way.
Did you?
Yes.
When's it drop?
September 23rd.
Oh, that's not too bad.
But if you pre-order, you get in the closed beta and the it's not the alpha, but it's the private beta, I think. Anyway, I have the ability to start playing it Friday. I won't have time Friday, but I have the ability.
I've stopped pre-ordering games. I've had too many games that I've pre-ordered turn out to be just not ready.
Well, here's the thing about this game. I mean, it's one of my favorite games of all time, and it's just being, upgraded and ported over to console. And they did such a good job with 3 as far as how the controls work. And by pre-ordering, you also got an extra pet and wings for 3 if you ever play 3. So if it was a game I've never played before, that would be different. And my goal when I play in a beta is to break the thing. Because you're helping everybody.
If you can.
You're helping the world if you can break the game, because then they know how to fix it. I haven't accomplished that yet, but I try really hard. So many things going on this weekend, but the most important, just a couple days away from heading to Columbia. Getting that gold, getting that trophy, bringing it home.
I'm calling audible here. We got 8 divisions to go through. And I know this is bad radio form, and I apologize, but we're going to push the NFL conversation off to the next hour. Not because I don't have it done. I do. But because I'm only going to have like 5 minutes here and then 10 minutes in the back segment, and that's not enough time to run through 8 divisions. So hang tight. Hang in there. We will do NFL preseason divisional predictions in the next hour. But before we get there, real quick about the Triumph. Every team is going to have a stretch where there's a bit of a struggle, right? The best teams are going to have a stretch where there's going to be a bit of a struggle. It happens. And it can happen to a championship side like the Triumph. Fact is, even though things are not going great right now, at the end of the day, like we talked about with Aaron, and thanks again to Aaron Walker, thanks to my buddy Doug Irwin and everybody at the Triumph for setting those up for us every Wednesday. They are still the defending USL League One champions. They are still getting it. If you've been, I've been to every home match this year. I will be at every home match this year. You are getting every team's best shot every single week in, week out. And that's not to say, oh, Greenville's playing great and they're just getting beat because every team's laying down. It's not how it works. We're not playing great. And I don't think I'm going to offend anybody over there by saying that. Defensively, they look a little sluggish. It's preventing transition. When we do get the ball forward up towards the net, the opportunities just aren't there. It doesn't feel like there's as much creativity up front. But it's a spell. This team's good. There's some spots that I'd be interested to see what a change would do. I would like to maybe see a bit more aggressive substitutions on the attack, keep fresher legs up front. I mean, there were 3 or 4 chances against Tormenta last weekend. They were there, just couldn't find the net. It happens. But this team is far from bad. I saw a couple people on Twitter, and in fact, I heard somebody in the stands last Saturday say, well, once they start winning, I'm not coming back. I don't know, man. Lonzo, there is a place where a team goes that I go, okay, I'm out. It's lack of effort, right? I will not bail from a team because they are losing. I will bail from a team when there is a lack of effort. When it looks like they are just done, when they are not trying anymore. I don't think the Triumph are there. The team played hard against Tormenta. Tormenta played the best game I have seen Tormenta play in 2 years. And by the way, one of the shots was a great shot. One of them was just good luck. All right, that's a 2-1 game. It's not a 3-1 game. It's a 2-1 game. But scoreboard says what it is. I will quit on a team if that team quits on me. I will quit on a team if a team quits with the effort, quits playing, quits fighting. This team has not done that. It just has to find itself. How many teams have we seen that there's a bit of a struggle, and all it takes, Lonzo, in football, all it takes is a game that an offense has been averaging 12, 14 a game. All it takes is one where they find the chemistry, they score 35, and next thing you know, the train's rolling, right?
You know, what you said kind of offended me because obviously you're a front runner fan if you say if they don't start winning, I'm not coming back. So, I mean, if it's your team, you stick with your team. Sometimes they go through some down times, but this team will be back. And it's disappointing to hear that. Yeah, it is. And it doesn't matter what you're rooting for, what sport you're rooting for. If it's your team, it's your team. You don't say that.
Yeah, like I said, if a team quits, I get it. Like if a team quits, if you can look at the team and just see that they're just kind of going through the motions to get up, get out, play, get a check, and go home, then I'll bail. But that's not this team, man. That's not this team. This team is fighting. And it's just going to take one of those games. It's going to take one of those games where they find 4 and the floodgates open. You saw it back earlier this year. It happened to start this season. This season, this team opened up with an onslaught. Well, they go 4-1-0 to start. 4-1-0, and the goals were coming. 4-2. 1-1-3. I mean, they'll find them. It's going to take a spark. And I promise you, especially in a sport like soccer that relies so much on constant momentum coming out of the supporter section, I promise you that spark will come as long as Legacy Early stays full. All right, let's take a break. Pushing our NFL preseason divisional projections to the next hour. So when we come back here in just a moment, an interesting story out of Georgia that is going to challenge the attitude of a lot of older sports fans. Talk about that when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
It's fun.
Prisma Health, the official healthcare provider of both the Tigers and the Gamecocks, and they want to be the official healthcare provider for you and your family as well. Why? Because they make it easy, they make it convenient to ensure that your healthcare is your priority and it's their priority as well. Prisma Health, if you go to the website, you're going to see a number of things. PrismaHealth.org is the website. You're going to see that there are over 2,400 doctors across their network, meaning that there is a doctor that you will trust with your family's healthcare, a doctor that you will like to take care of your family. Plus, you're going to find out that there are locations all around the Midlands and the Upstate. So you don't have to drive halfway across the city to find a Prisma location that is right for you. And they offer 2 very cool virtual setups. First off is the MyChart setup, where all of your information is kept confidential and secure, but at your fingertips for you and your doctor. So when you get test results back, you can go see them immediately. So can your doctor. When you get routine checkups and they find something new to be concerned with or to keep an eye on, right there in your MyChart, so you and your doctor can see it. And you can make a virtual appointment. So if you can't get out, you got the kids, you got work, you got this, you got that. Well, you set up and schedule a virtual appointment with your doctor so that you can meet face-to-face over your computer screen without cutting into your day. Go to PrismaHealth.org, PrismaHealth.org to learn more. It's our friends at Prisma Health right here in the Upstate.
You wear a tank top because I wore a tank top today, Roman? Is that what we got going on? I didn't know that's what we're doing. Thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
McAfee interviewing
Roman. You got him to crack. And Roman is He is. I was gonna come around here. He is rocking. That's how you wear a tank top.
I mean, I don't wear tank tops for that.
That's how you wear a tank top if you're gonna wear it.
You wear a tank top because I wore a tank top today, Roman? Is that what you got going on? I didn't know that's what we're doing. Thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
You gotta remember to check that out later.
Yeah, I will have to listen to that.
Again,
Imagine having McAfee confidence to ask that question to that man.
that dude don't care. He doesn't.
I'm telling you, like, if I was famous, I'd be Pat McAfee. If I had unlimited money to do whatever I want, I'd just be Pat McAfee.
I don't think stuff was handed to him. I think he found his niche and was able to get.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely. I didn't say he didn't earn it. I'm saying I don't think that you could be McAfee.
All right, here's the thing. Quit saying if and say when.
My mother has just texted, please show Roman in a tank top. Mom, you're done. You're cut off. I'm banning you from the stream. You're gone. You're going to be inappropriate on the stream like that.
Huh. I didn't know. Roman played football with Calvin Johnson in college. I didn't realize that.
Did. Georgia Tech.
I hope AJ Hawk calls him out. Let's go. I always thought AJ Hawk would be a good wrestler, but, it never happened. Who's the best famous football player that transitioned into wrestling?
Goldberg.
He wasn't.
Brock Lesnar.
Neither one of those guys were famous football players.
Ron Simmons. Damn.
I'm going to go Mongo McMichael. Famous. The Bears. Super Bowl. Wouldn't just go on the team.
I typed in best F, and the first fill in line was best football players turned wrestlers.
Oh, because they're listening. They're absolutely
Now, are
listening.
we talking about wrestlers who were good wrestlers?
No.
Because the answer is Kevin Green.
Yeah, but.
Or Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor wrestled.
But, yeah, but not.
We're talking about
he didn't become a wrestler.
Guys who became wrestlers. Okay.
That's why I still say it's McMichael.
It's Kevin Green then. It's still Kevin Green.
But
Kevin
he didn't.
Green won a lot.
He didn't wrestle that much, though.
He did. For a while. He was like, I saw him on house shows. Do you remember the movie The Junction Boys that came out a couple of years ago? Did you see The Junction Boys, Lonzo?
Doesn't sound like my kind of film.
It's a football movie. It's about the Bear Bryant days at Texas A&M before he got to Alabama.
So
One. I'm back in the lead 2 days in a row. I'm taking the win, boys.
It's contagious.
2 days in a row.
I never used to do this. Never used to. Well, I blame the stream. The fact that we're talking on the stream during the break.
Want.
All right, fine.
I'm going back to back, boys.
Fine. We'll see.
Lonzo forgot to turn his mic on before he started talking. I have yet to do it today. I'm going to do it 8 times now, but I thought you just turned mine off. I'm like, you jerk. You did. Don't you?
See, I will win. Because you're going to think you turned it on, and I will turn it on. Speaking, and I win.
Keeping my hand on the button so far.
It's very tactical of you.
So the Junction Boys was a movie about Paul Bear Bryant's time at Texas A&M before he went to Alabama. Gene Stallings was a player for his back in the day. And the Junction Boys pointed out about how you can call it what you like. And here comes Rob Brown, the bleeding heart snowflake millennial, about how Bear Bryant tortured his football players to get them ready for the football season. 2-a-days, 110 degrees, no water, no breaks. You want to be on this team, you tough it out. Damn it, that's what we do, tough it out.
Good old days.
Good old days. He tortured his football team. And I watched that movie, and it never made sense to me why we celebrated that. I never got, I'm watching this movie, and they're doing the little cutaways, and afterwards they're like, these guys are like, I thank Bear Bryant for making me a man. And I'm like, nah, nope. What he did to that team was unacceptable. In the 30s, it was unacceptable. It was too much.
It doesn't sound like too much to me. So
watch them. Your homework this weekend is to watch Junction Boys.
I just want to point out, Rob, I've got a very busy weekend coming up, and you're aware of a lot of it.
There's higher priorities than this show.
Yes. Yeah. It's gonna take a while for me to prepare to go to the Star Awards.
Sure, we got to drive to Columbia to pick up some hardware and back.
That's right, and I got to groom myself in such a way that I walk in the room and people have no idea who I am.
Groom myself. Anyway, this movie was about how Bear Bryant effectively tortured his football team to make him a man. All right, it was unacceptable then.
It's just I went through 2 days. I remember not getting that much water. I saw football in the face. I've seen lots of things happening that should not have happened. I myself had to do 500 yards of bear crawls during lunch because I got in trouble. I had to push a sled by myself.
I want you to know I did not give Lonzo the quiet off the air laugh to make him correct that.
As a professional straight man, I can continue talking and pretend like it never happened.
That you didn't do the second one on purpose, but you did a second one. All right. So anyway, I get it. It's one thing.
I don't think the way you do. Okay.
Yeah, we know. It's plain obvious now. I'm waiting for the Stathakis text to come in.
Yeah. He's not listening. We would already have 5 if he was listening.
So that I'm not saying bad things about two-a-days or whatnot. I'm not saying that stuff's unacceptable. I'm saying the premise of players can't have water to toughen them up. No. That's a good way to get kids in physical harm.
Hydration and the need of hydration and the importance of hydration has only been really, looked at scientifically in the last, couple decades, maybe 30, 40.
Dude, there's a reason Gatorade came out in the 70s.
Right. And this you said was in the 30s.
Right. Junction Boys was. Right.
Well,
right.
How do you know you need it till, unfortunately, bad things happen?
I get what you're saying. The point is, I don't know why we celebrated that. We celebrated then, you remember back in the day when things were better and you could almost kill your players, but you made them men. Why are we celebrating that? All right. Now, 2 Georgia basketball coaches have been charged with second-degree murder, second-degree child cruelty, involuntary manslaughter, and reckless conduct in the 2019 death of high school basketball player Amani Bell. Per the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, a grand jury has concluded that coaches La Rosa Maria Walker Asquer and Dwight Broom Palmer were culpable after allegedly, quote, conducting outdoor conditioning training for student athletes in dangerous heat, resulting in the death of Amani Bell due to hyperthermia and rhabdomyolysis, a muscle fiber injury condition that can lead to kidney failure. Bell was a 16-year-old student at the Elite Scholars Academy in Clayton County, located just south of Atlanta. She collapsed on August 13, 2019, and later died after running basketball drills outside while the heat index was 106 degrees, according to the Journal-Constitution. Per an autopsy report, her death occurred after running laps in stadium stairs with teammates. The autopsy report ruled her death a, quote, accident, end quote. Per the autopsy, quote, Miss Bell attempted to run with the girls for the last lap, but was unable and did a fast-paced walk. One of the coaches noticed Miss Bell was tired, so he started walking the last lap with her and encouraged her. A coach was with her, encouraged her, and she may have physically assisted her up the stairs. As Miss Bell neared the top, she leaned into the rail and then went limp, at quote. The coaches finally provided Bell with water after she had gone down, and was declared dead later on in the day. The attorney for Bell's family, Justin Miller, identified the coach as the head coach of the girls basketball team and Palmer as an assistant. Both were present and in charge of practice that day. Listen, It is one thing to toughen up your players, ladies and gentlemen. But this old school barbarian way of how we get high school players ready to play high school ball, can't do it. Can't do it anymore. Can't do it anymore. Because you're going to have stuff like this continue to happen. Let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute from right now, Lonzo and I open up the next hour by going division by division around the NFL and telling you who will win that division. That's next on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
So
the texts I expected to come in are coming in.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, it's not Sathakis. It's many other people.
It's about the straight thing.
ESPN. So what I...
What are you... You know, so
And we're back live.
yeah, so I mean, that's
Just so you know.
just so you know. I never said it was me. I said I witnessed it. I was punished in other
The
ways.
joke was you did call yourself a professional straight man, and I know you meant it in the comedy word sense. But seconds after you said the previous sentence, that's where the joke lied.
I think it's a stretch, but you know,
Mm-mm.
it's absolutely a stretch.
I caught it the second you said it.
Yeah, but
and I knew those.
you were looking for it, which is what you're doing now. You're looking for me to say something that.
I wasn't looking for that any harder than I was looking for anything when you told the Ohio State doctor story.
Let us make sure we go to break at 2:15 because we just got a reminder email about the EAS
That's
thing.
at 2:20.
That happens at 2:20. So if we go at 2:15, we'll make sure we get our break in.
Okay.
So no commercials will be.
Playing while it's on. Got it.
Doesn't matter if they can't hear us. We just don't want to.
Yeah.
Oh, you nasty people making fun of me.
I just read an article where somebody called him William Goldberg, and it threw me off for a second. I was like, who?
Billy. You talking about Billy?
Lex Luger played for the Packers. Yo, Big Van Vader played in the NFL. He was
Again,
a third-round draft pick.
but again, you're surprised by it, which means he wasn't that good in the
So
NFL.
you're saying equal or closest to equal fame in both football and WWE.
Yes.
Had to have success in both.
Yeah, you can be slightly better in one or the other,
Yeah, yeah.
but enough to where you go, oh yeah. If you talk to a non-wrestling fan, they would tell you what team that.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Let's roll, baby! The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. I am Rob. Lonzo, the great one. Colonel Grudge, the Alpha and the Omega of ESPN Upstate, the conductor of the Symphony of Sound that is the Rob Brown Show. Sitting across the board from me. Let's talk divisional breakdowns. What do you say? Preseason football is underway. We are a week removed from the Hall of Fame game. Tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, NFL football is only a day away. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 games on the docket for tomorrow evening. Got a fistful on Saturday, another fistful for you on Sunday. Remember, just 3 preseason games for each team this year.
That's the hard thing I keep forgetting about that.
Yep,
So that's
only
how
3.
close we are to the actual season.
Yep. Yep. September. We are less than a month away, Lonzo. Put it that way. September 9th is our kickoff game. We got the Cowboys taking on your reigning, defending, undisputed National Football League world champions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Tom Brady gets it kicked off September 9th. On the 12th, we get our first full slate. Seahawks, Colts, Jags, Texans. By the way, congrats to Trevor Lawrence on picking up a win on his first ever NFL game. Ready for your free money alert? There you go. It's Jags over Texans in week 1. Straight up. Straight up. Take it straight up. Don't put it on the money line. Take it straight up. That's my bet. Trevor going to shock some folks in that one. And also the Texans, bad at football. Taylor did pretty well last year.
How is that shocking anyone?
That the Texans are bad?
Yeah, I just...
it's not.
Okay.
It's not. It's not. It's not.
Will Deshaun Watson actually be the quarterback?
Nope.
Could be.
Nope. Take that bet straight up, too. I got $1 on the table to Deshaun Watson. You know, we're just going to start doing dollar bets on the show. Can we do that? Are we allowed to do that?
What's this we stuff? You can do it all you want. It doesn't mean I'll accept it. We actually did have one. Do you remember what it was for? Good, because I don't.
I do remember we had one, but I cannot tell you what that dollar bet was for now. It was a long time ago. It was like Monday. Am I supposed to remember what happened on Monday? Are you kidding me?
You can blame me for not writing it down like I ever will.
Panthers open at 1 o'clock on September 12th, taking on the Jets. Sam Darnold revenge on his new team. So let's take a look division by division at who we expect to end up where. And ordinarily, Lonzo, you would save the division of the team that you're broadcasting around, in this case, Carolina in the NFC South. Ordinarily, you'd save that for last. Lonzo, is there division in football that you are more confident in already belonging to one team than the NFC South belonging to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yes.
There's another team in another division you believe has a better chance to win the division than Tampa Bay.
The AFC West and the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm not as confident as Tampa Bay. I'm not. And that's not to say I'm not redonk confidence in your Chiefs, Zoe, because you are correct. You are correct. But I'm not as confident, man.
I also know the hardest division to pick is going to be the NFC West. So, I mean, it's the NFC West going to be very difficult to pick.
I concur with those two statements. I think the Chiefs will be more threatened by the Broncos at the end of the year than the Buccaneers will be threatened by any other team in the NFC South.
Did you say the Broncos?
I said what I said.
The Broncos.
Uh-huh. Because they play in Denver.
Yeah, I'm aware where they play.
Okay.
I would, if you would have said the Chargers, I would get that. But the Broncos? Who's the Broncos quarterback?
Drew Lock. I didn't say they were going to be offensive powerhouses. I said defensive. Well, I didn't say this, but defensively.
Can they match the Kansas City Chiefs for point? No. If their defense must have to be really, really good.
That's going to be.
Okay, we'll see.
It's going to be. All right, so let's start with the NFC South. All right, let's just go ahead and jump right in to the NFC South. You've got Tampa, New Orleans, you've got Carolina, and you've got the ATL. There's no way. Are you not picking Tampa? Let's start with that.
Yes, I'm picking Tampa.
Okay.
I can get past the hate and the bias and all that stuff and be realistic. Yes, I can.
You have to here. You absolutely have to here. Of course, you got to pick the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course you have to. Look, the Saints quarterback situation post Drew Brees is still up in the air, right? We're still looking. I'm 90% sure it is going to be Jameis Winston when it's all said and done, and then we don't know which Jameis we're going to get. Remember, that's the Jameis that can throw 30 touchdowns in a year, but also throw 30 picks in a year. I don't know what Sam Darnold's going to be. He has looked better the last couple of days of Panthers training camp, but he has not looked great yet at all. And I have not seen the hallmarks of the guy I want leading the offense. Again,
All right, this is our first preseason together, so I'm not quite sure how we're doing. Are we going to just pick the winner, or are we going to pick order of how we think they're going to finish?
The winner.
Okay, all right.
It gets too deep when you start trying to pick.
How about we pick 1 and 2?
You want to pick 1 and 2?
Yeah, because I'm curious about who you pick for number 2, especially in the NFC South, in all divisions.
I am taking Tampa Bay 1. I will take, and this, I have a whole promo running about not doing this. A whole promo.
You're not going to pick them number 1. You're picking them number 2, and that's fine.
I know. But I feel like anything I try, you know what? I'm not even going to do it. I'm going to listen to my own promo.
Don't do it, because the right answer would be the Saints at number 2.
All right, that's what I'm going with.
All right.
I was debating back and forth between the ATL and the NOLA. I know some people are going to go, why not the Panthers? Like I said, I haven't seen anything out of Sam Darnold that makes me think this guy is.
Yeah.
I like the pick. I think it was the right call to bring him in there, but it's a big gamble. I'm not ready to put him over Jameis.
How many weeks do you think it will take before we go, okay, they did the right thing by bringing you? 4 weeks, 5 weeks? Will we know? Will it take half the season before we know?
Texter says, ha, 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 bolt up, baby. We coming for you. We have a Chargers texter threatening Zoe. I am here for it.
Yeah, but that's more realistic than Denver.
I don't hate it. How long before we think that we figured out that Darnold is the guy?
All right, now let's
Week
put some
2?
things. Now, if Christian McCaffrey stays healthy,
dramatic increase, and that's part of the reason I can't pair. I will trust Run CMC to stay healthy if he's healthy in week 17. But after last year, I can't trust him to stay healthy all 17.
What I'm saying is we will truly know about the quarterback if McCaffrey stays healthy.
Concurred.
If not, there will be built-in excuses.
Somebody just said, y'all gonna be surprised when the Jets win it all. Correct.
Yes, we will be.
Correct. I would be. That is the
right.
understatement of the millennia. All right. No, look, and we'll dedicate this whole segment to the South, and then we'll wrap up the rest of the divisions in the next 2 segments. We may have to scrap Twitter to finish this up. New Orleans is, again, now, here's what's interesting in New Orleans. We don't know who the quarterback is. Yes, we do. It's Jameis, but let's keep going with the narrative. We don't know who the quarterback is. But you are missing.
Will be the quarterback? How many snaps? Would it be 80%?
I think that no. It'll be 85, 90%.
Okay.
Taysom will come in and get some here and there as the gadget QB, but Jameis is the quarterback. The correct question, Lonzo, is who will be the quarterback in week 6? That is a harder question to answer. Because if Jameis is going 30 touches but 30 picks, he might get pulled and give Taysom his shot around week 6.
Come on, Mr. Science. Trust in the science. LASIK surgery is very effective.
Hey, I think it might have an impact. I also think maybe I'm just trying to talk myself into some positivity because I don't have a lot of it.
Maybe he'll throw more picks now because he thinks he can see better.
Maybe. I mean, that's a genuine question. Is he over aggressive? Mike Thomas is out for at least a handful of weeks. The kicker, Will Lutz, is out for at least a handful of weeks. Patrick Robinson, projected to be a cornerback starter, just retired yesterday out of the blue. And by the way, when you start having starters deciding to retire 3 weeks into camp, Lonzo, it does not show good things.
Wait. Jameis is our quarterback? You know what? I'm out.
Genuinely.
Isn't that what you thought? When I saw the retirement, that's the first thing I thought. Drew Brees is gone. Jameis is his quarterback. He thought, you know what? This ain't going to be a good year. I'm done.
I'm changing my pick. Atlanta's going to be second. That just changed my mind. The fact that a defensive starter just decided 3 weeks into camp, nah, I'm all right. I'm good. I'm going to go home. That's
I see what's coming. I don't want any part of that.
I'm out. I got Tampa Bay winning the division. I got Atlanta. Atlanta coming in second. Lonzo's got you're sticking with Nolans?
Yeah, I'm sticking with him.
Sticking with Nolans in number 2.
I think Taysom Hill is going to do a good job for you guys.
Oh, God. I told my mom texted me last night, and she's like, after P. Rob retired, and she's like, so Drew's gone, Mike Thomas is out, our kicker's out, guy retires. She said, this might be a long season. And I reminded her that back in the day, after the Saints won their Super Bowl in 2009-10, we made the joke going, you know what? I'm okay if we never win another Super Bowl because I got to experience one, and the majority of Saints fans never did before they died. I'm okay if we never win another one. And now I found out, Lonzo, we weren't joking.
Well, here's something else you need. Your mom and yourself should be looking towards. Maybe you want a bad season because if the rumors are true, just over the horizon, there's a quarterback who's going to be available.
Like the Knights of Rohan riding over the hill. Aaron Rodgers the White.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, the rumor popped out yesterday. Will Blackman, former Green Bay Packers defensive back, who's still a friend of Aaron Rodgers, said yesterday that he believes Aaron Rodgers will be a Saint next year. Said that the wheels were already in motion for that this year before A-Rod decided there was enough on the table to stay in Green Bay, but that he wants out still and he'll end up in New Orleans. That happens. That happens.
And if you were on the stream, you saw a smile that was so genuine.
God, please, just give me one more. Let's take a break. Coming up in the next segment, we will get to the rest of the NFC East, North, and West. Then we'll do the AFC after that. We'll give you our Super Bowl champions before we get to Twitter. If we get to Twitter, we'll see. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate. Keegan said, do not play with my heart. What do you, oh, the Aaron Rodgers thing? Yeah, trust me, Keegan. Trust me, dog. I know.
Stop living with that awful joint pain. And don't let them tell you surgery is your only option. We're excited to tell you about it.
I'll tell you what I'll let them tell me.
Did you just quote the song "Stop Playing Games with My Heart"?
Quit playing games with my
Was
heart.
it?
My heart. My heart. I should have known from the start.
I think it's kind of funny that you had to correct me. Shows you how much I know about the song and the fact that you know the lyrics and you're not a lyrics guy.
Playing games with my heart.
Can you do the dance though? I'm guessing there was a dance along.
No,
with
but
it.
I could do the I want a talent show with the NSYNC dance to Bye Bye Bye. Which
Is that the puppet
my
thing?
very cool rock and roll band plays a rock and roll cover of Bye 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 by NSYNC, and my lead singer and I actually still do the dance.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's very entertaining.
You don't even know.
No, actually,
no.
actually, I don't even know. So I'm taking your word for it. I could go look at the video and see if that's accurate.
Yeah.
Is that the one Justin Timberlake was in?
Yes, the one that Justin Timberlake was in. Oh, you mean the boy band he was in?
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
That's NSYNC. Yes.
Okay.
For about 6 years.
I get them and Backstreet Boys mixed up.
That was Nick Carter was in Backstreet Boys. Who's the older one? Nick. Aaron was the little douchey little brother.
Here, let me do my best. Pete Dunne. I was already long into, I was probably in my 30s at that point. It's probably not a good idea for me to be a fan of that. You can rock forever, but boy bands, still being a fan when you get to a certain age.
It turns creepy.
Yeah, it does.
Except New Kids on the Block.
I have to say I agree.
NKOTB. Oh, we're on. Save it.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it and put it in the next break also.
Okay.
Luckily, it's a barter. But and the Odyssey commercial is in-house. So we're good. We didn't lose any local stuff.
How long do these go? 2 minutes?
It said so in the thing, but I don't remember. Looks like a minute. One meja in Espanol. Yeah, I don't know.
You know I don't speak Spanish, Baxter.
Wish we could time it and that. Oh, we're back already, so we're good. TV's back. We're back.
All right, so we're breaking down our divisional predictions this year. NFC South, Rob Brown has selected the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the division. Lonzo has selected the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the division. I've taken Atlanta to check in second. Lonzo has taken the New Orleans Saints. Let's move to your NFC East for our next division. They remain and shall remain for the time being, Lonzo, the NFC least. At this point, I don't trust anybody like at all. Last year, they had a team win it at 7 wins. 7-9 was good enough to win that division last year. This year, up in the air. There are some additions that will make it interesting. Ryan Fitzmagic is now under center for the Washington football team. Chase Young is good there. The question is all about the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott is not playing in the preseason, or at least has not yet played in the preseason after that gruesome ankle injury last year. He also is dealing with a shoulder injury that has lit him up as well. A lot of people riding them. Some folks think that Danny Dimes is going to sneak up there as the quarterback of the Giants and have the door open for him. Lonzo, I picked first in the NFC South. I'll let you go first in the NFC East. Who's your divisional winner?
You're right. It's very difficult if you watch some of the shows on ESPN. They're very favorable for Washington because of their defense and other things. But there's a reason why Fitzpatrick goes from team to team to team. He's a really good backup. He's not necessarily a good starter. All right. Let me rephrase that. He's a good starter. He's not a good finisher. He usually looks really good at the beginning of the season. Sure. Then people figure him out, and then he's usually replaced by whatever backup who should be the starter eventually. So I can't go with Washington. And the Eagles are a mess.
They are.
I'm going with the Cowboys.
Dallas to win the NFC East.
Yeah,
NFC.
I'm not going to say that they blow the entire division away, but someone has to win the division. So I'm going with the Cowboys to win it. And surprisingly, I'm going to go with the Giants at 2.
The Giants, the New York Football Giants. Danny Dimes has a believer, ladies and gentlemen.
Or no, it's more like everybody else is so bad that somebody's got to finish second.
I do believe. Do you believe in Fitzmagic? I do. Remember. Fitzy was having a hell of a year last year until the Dolphins were just like, yeah, let's just go to Tua now. No reason. Just time. Fitzy had them in playoff position when they made the switch to Tua, and now he gets Riverboat Ron opening it up for him. Give me the Washington football team to win the NFC East. I'm going to take Dallas too, and I don't love it. I think that I don't know, man. Dallas, I put right down there with the Atlanta Falcons. Every year, people want to choose them, and every year they let you down. Nobody knows why. It's a mystery of football.
Well, I wouldn't say every year. There was a time, a really long time ago, where they won Super Bowls.
Ugh.
It was a really long time ago.
It was a really long time ago. I was a child. Okay. NFC North. You going anybody but Green Bay on this one, Lonzo?
No.
Now that A-Rod of the football persuasion is back in the mix.
Yeah, it's more about number 2. I'm guessing a lot of people are going to go with the Vikings at number 2. Not me. I'm going with the Chicago Bears because I think a certain rookie is going to be a starter.
Bears. You got Chicago checking in second. I don't hate that pick. Are you trusting Justin early? I didn't think of that until I just said it. Are you trusting Justin?
It wasn't bad. I know I'm not trusting Andy Dalton early, late, or in the middle. So
I am going to go Chicago as well. Not because I'm a big Justin Fields guy. I'm calling my shot. I've said all season long, there's going to be a quarterback who misses multiple games because of COVID and it costs him his team's playoff spot. It's Kirk Cousins, who said the other day.
It's already going to go with Andy Dalton. I don't think Andy Dalton's a social guy. I think he goes home and doesn't go anywhere.
Nope. I'm going Kirk Cousins. And I'm going Kirk Cousins because Kirk said the other day that he would rather build a plexiglass wall around his quarterback locker than get the COVID vaccination. He's going to get it. It's going to cost the Vikings 3 games, and they're going to fall to Chicago for a wild card spot.
You're awful excited about this like you want it to happen.
I don't want it to happen. I don't want anybody to get it. I think it will.
I mean, it also comes down to who hangs with Kirk Cousins. I mean, it's Kirk Cousins. Ain't nobody hanging with him. You can't catch it if you're not around anybody. I'm just saying.
Although if anybody catches it, it'd be the first thing they caught from Kirk Cousins. Yeah! Nailed it. Stuck the landing. French judge gives it a 10. Yeah, I'll take Chicago second in that division. So we match with the NFC South. Oh, no, sorry. We match with the winner of the NFC South. I've got Tampa Soda Zoe. He's got New Orleans second place in the South. I've got Atlanta in the NFC least. I've got Washington winning it, Dallas checking in at 2. He's got Dallas winning it and the Giants checking in at 2. In the NFC North, we both go Green Bay at 1. We both go Chicago at 2. Now we switch to what might be, I think you're right, the most difficult division to pick in the National Football League, and that is the NFC West. The NFC West is going to be a crapshoot. The Cardinals, the Rams, the Niners, and the Seahawks. Legit, Lonzo, any one of those 4 teams could win this division.
Yeah, this is
any
tough.
one of those 4 teams.
Really, really tough.
Yep. This is, I think, that there are some divisions where 2 teams could win it. There's a couple of divisions that 3 teams could win it. It's the only division that all 4 teams could win it. We got Russell Wilson there in Seattle, keeps Seattle in the conversation every year. The 49ers got a little quarterback controversy, I guess.
That's what the media would have you think, yes.
Yeah, but I don't know. Well, I mean, they do. Who's the starter? We don't know. Did Jimmy G keep his job?
I think Jimmy G has already been named as the starter. So, I mean, he could lose it, but for right now, he's been named as a starter by the coach.
I will tell you this. While I love their quarterback, the Cardinals have not been – I'm process of eliminating to my champ. The Cardinals have been incredibly inconsistent under Cliff Kingsbury. Like the guy, like the quarterback, like the offense, but they've been inconsistent. I can't trust them. The 49ers, they have been killed worse than any other team by the injury bug. I don't know if that stays consistent. I'll eliminate them. It comes down to Seattle and LA for me. We know that Cam Akers, it looks like, is I believe he's out for the year with a knee injury, if I recall correctly, which is a huge blow. Torn Achilles. He was the Rams' leading rusher last year. That is a big, big blow, but I don't think it's the end of the line. I am going to take the LA Rams under Matt Stafford. Matty Ice, Matt Stafford, the guy that Mark Ryan loves to hate, I think is going to prove why it was that Detroit continues to be mocked by their own former players like CJ Megatron, Calvin Johnson. Rams number 1, Zoe. Seattle second place wildcard team.
All right, so Mark Ryan just spit in his own apartment. Now he has to clean it up because you said Matt Stafford. He hates him that much.
Does. That's what I'm saying.
Which,
hates Stafford.
You've explained.
Stafford's the reason the Rams win the division.
You've explained to me why, and I never thought of it before. It has a little bit, or we speculated.
That's not accurate.
We speculated it has a little bit something to do with where Stafford played his college football.
That's not the reason.
Of course he does. But because it's so hard to pick, I'm going to kind of go by height as far as who's going to win and who's going to be last. So if I go by height, I think we know who I'm picking last in the division. So I am going with the 49ers to win the division. They, injury aside from last year, now they got a good backup one way or another. Whoever is the starter, the backup's going to be pretty good, or would seem to. I really like Matt Stafford, and I almost would pick the Rams, but I have a little more confidence in San Francisco. I actually think it's going to be close. They may even end up with the same record. But head-to-head, I think San Francisco gets it. So I'm going 49ers, and I'm going Rams, too.
The Rams in second. So our NFC predictions are as follows. In the NFC South, Rob and Lonzo both picked Tampa to win. I've got the ATL in second. Lonzo has the NOLA. In the NFC East, I've got the Washington football team wrapping up that conference with a stellar, 9-8 record. Lonzo's taking Dallas. I've got Dallas second. He's got the Giants pulling up the runner-up spot in the NFC East. In the NFC North, Green Bay and Chicago are my 1-2 picks. Also the 1-2 picks of Lonzo, Green Bay, and Chicago. And in the NFC West, I've got the Rams taking the division with the Seahawks bringing up the second place. Gold for San Francisco, silver for the LA Rams, says Lonzo. When we come back, we do the AFC, South, East, North, and West. That's coming up next on The Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
Just have to say, and I want this on the record, that I really like talking NFL.
You really like what?
Talking NFL. Because that means it's the NFL season. This is Diesel's NFL team. Does he have one?
He does.
So 3 of the 4 of us on ESPN Upstate, our teams have won the Super Bowl.
Correct.
But we don't know about Diesel.
Wait. I thought Ryan was a Texans fan. But then his girlfriend made him a Jags fan?
No, he's a Tampa Bay fan last year.
That's right.
And he says that he was always a Tampa Bay fan growing up. So, I mean, you know. I'm sure he wasn't a Tampa Bay fan just to be, you know, opposite of me. But, yeah, he says he was. You recall, we did a pre-Super Bowl show, and he was rocking some Tampa Bay gear.
Yeah, that's true.
Not that you can't just go out to the store and just buy, you know, he might have all 32 teams gear in his closet. I don't know. And, you know, there are a lot of Clemson fans who are Jags fans now.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Just throwing that out there. May have nothing to do with the thing you were talking about a few seconds ago. Just like there were a lot of Clemson fans who became Houston fans. I forget who Houston was playing in the playoffs a couple years ago. And we went to a wings place where we knew that a ton of those fans would be Clemson/Houston fans at the time.
Houston.
And just sit there and laughed every time. I want to say it was the Colts. I can't remember who they were playing. But every time it was me and Patrick Brown. Every time we did it right before the show on Saturday, we were laughing just to watch them get all excited and I don't mean, but pro in his life.
There's no off button for that.
No, there's not.
Oh, that kid. Oh. How did he do that? Oh, the base. Okay. They don't spike the bases into the ground, I guess.
Do they have the belt thing?
I don't know. Like ours had a metal pole under it that fit into a slot in the ground to keep the base from doing that.
I've seen some that have like a belt thing that.
Belts to what?
I don't know what they were hooked. I think the straps like came out of the ground or something.
Dude.
Just having a little trouble with control here. Give the kid a break.
No, I was telling the Florida kid, like, I'm not a sacrifice yourself for the team guy, but
that was kind of high, though. I mean,
you know, what I'm saying.
Yeah, you get that wrong, it's popping you in the head. It's frustrated. You got this, kid. Get your confidence back. What would Rob Brown do? What would Rob Brown do? What would Rob Brown do? What would Rob Brown do?
He's got a nice little breaking ball. It's just he can't get it down.
Against a bunch of short kids.
All right, let's look at the AFC side of things. We will start over in the AFC. Oh, which order did I write them down in? Over in the AFC South. We'll start in the AFC South, of course, a division that is soon to feature the breakout of Trevor Lawrence there at the Jaguars. We don't know what's going on with the Texans, the Colts and Titans there as well. Look, to me, Lonzo, it's a 2-horse race here, right? Like the Colts are going to have one of the best front sevens in all of the NFL. The Titans, on the other hand, behind Derrick Henry, have been good. Ryan Tannehill, comeback story of the year.
I was going to say, don't leave Tannehill out because he's been a very consistent quarterback.
So I think the question here is, what order do you put Indy and Tennessee? For me, I'm going to put Tennessee as my top team in the AFC South, or excuse me, in the AFC South. I love a team that can get out there and just muscle run the football, and I don't know that there is a better running back for that than Derrick Henry. The guy will go like 3 games having 210 yards and then just have like a 30-yard game for no reason at all. But Tannehill can pick up the slack now in ways that you have to have for a hot, cold quarterback like Derrick Henry, running back like Derrick Henry. Give me Tennessee to win that division. Indy right behind them, probably only a game or two of defense, Lonzo.
All right, so I am also going to go with Tennessee because they've consistently been good year in and year out, and they haven't done anything to get worse that I've seen. And you're right, Derrick Henry is a beast, and Tannehill, pretty good. Defense, always going to be really good under Vrabel. But I'm not going to go with the Colts at 2.
Really?
Because I don't believe their backup quarterback's good enough. And I believe that their starting quarterback is not going to make it through a season. Why? How many seasons has he made it? I think he's made it through 1 complete season, and he's hurt already before the season starts.
Oh, Carson.
So I am going with the Jags at number 2.
Jacksonville, TL16.
Now, keep in mind, they don't. If the division is bad, you don't have to like win a lot of games to be number 2. You could be like 6-10 and be number 2. I don't think that's what's going to be. I think they're going to win more games than people think. And I think Urban Meyer is going to do better than what people think. No one's really talking about Trevor Lawrence at all, and I think that's good. I think that's really good
too. I agree with you. I agree with you entirely.
I also believe that Tim Tebow is going to win a game at tight end. At tight end,
like starting?
Yeah, don't have to start. It can be in a rotation. I think he's going to have a game-winning touchdown.
Okay, go off, young man. Go off. TL16 gets a second place in its first division in the AFC, or first competition in the AFC South. Says, Lonzo, over in the AFC East. This one I am intrigued by. You got the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, the Patriots, and the Jets. I want to go on the record. I don't trust Miami at all. All right. Tua has not yet showed me that he is ready for this job. You have seen multiple high-level Miami Dolphins players say, screw this, I want out. Like mid-camp, I'm done. Get me up out of here. Somebody come get me. I'm ready to go home. I think it's and the Jets are the Jets.
Yeah.
The Jets. Two. The Jets are the Jets at this point. By the way, Zach Wilson, ladies and gentlemen, I know that I've given some grief to Sam Darnold and the Carolina Panthers, but I want you to take solace. I want you to have some peace here. Zach Wilson has been terrible. As Chuck Barkley, just terrible. And the Jets, Robert Saleh, who I like this guy as head coach. He seems to be a player's guy that they're in love with. He's like, oh, it's going to get worse before it gets better, but he's going to be just fine. Coach, you are out of time for it to get worse. You have no more time for it to get worse. It's preseason football this weekend. Zach Wilson ain't the guy. You swung and it looks like you whiffed. I could be wrong, but so far there, at least with Sam Darnold, he's getting better week by week, and he's showing me that even if he's not the leader I want him to be, he's completing the passes I need him to complete. Zach Wilson is not. So to me, it comes down to Buffalo and the Patriots. I got to tell you, I went back and forth on this one a lot. I'm ultimately going to end up picking the Bills, all right? I'm going to pick the Bills. But, ladies and gentlemen, do not be surprised if Cameron Newton has something to say about this division. Do not be surprised if Cameron Newton is a 25 in the air, 15 on the ground touchdown scorer this year. Do not be surprised if Cameron Newton contends to lead the league in touchdowns this year. And do not be surprised if Bill Belichick, with a year of him under the belt, doesn't have Cam Newton in contention for this division. I'm taking Buffalo to win the division and the Patriots just behind them in second.
All right, so when it comes down to me, you're absolutely right. Those are the two teams. And I could have second thoughts about going with the team that I'm going for number one because I lost money on them last year. But here's the thing about the Patriots. If they would have had the defense last year that they had the year before, they would have won a couple more games than they did. Even with Cam Newton having what was considered a bad year. He was having a pretty good year before he caught COVID, and then COVID messed him up pretty bad. They got some of those guys back. Belichick went out and got some free agents. He got some, and he wants to win, obviously. And I think it doesn't matter if it's Cam Newton or Mac Jones, but I believe Cam Newton's going to have a bounce back year. I absolutely do. I've always been a Cam fan. I'm going with the Patriots first. I think that Buffalo is probably still going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to have a good team, but there's something there that they just, I don't know what they're missing, but there's something they're missing.
I genuinely have no issue with taking the Patriots first. None. I like Josh Allen. My dude just got paid, by the way. And I like the Bills. They're fun. They're exciting. They're young. Talk about a team that's having fun playing the game. I like the Bills. That's why I picked them.
The bad part about getting paid, some of these guys, when they get paid, their performance on the field drops off. We'll see.
We will. So in that division, AFC East, I've got Buffalo winning it all, and Lonzo's taking the Patriots, and we have them flip-flopped with each other. Over to the AFC North we go. The Ravens, the Bengals, the Browns, and the Steelers are our four teams in the AFC North. How about them? My sweethearts this year, Lonzo. My darlings, Baker and the boys. They are going to be so much better. They have this is not me hyping Baker. The Browns have the best roster in the division. And if Odell is back and has his head on right, and Baker's got the guy, this is the best roster in the division. I am intrigued to see what Joey B can do with the Bengals. I am intrigued to see what the Steelers look like. But I'm not trusting a Steelers team that went 11-0 and then crapped the bed the rest of the year last year when the pressure got turned up, and it will be turned up from week 1 this year. I am taking the Cleveland freaking Browns to win the AFC North this year, Lonzo. Second place is going to be a bit of a toss-up. I'm going to begrudgingly take the Steelers here, only because I don't know what Joey B looks like. If Burrow is healthy, I'd take the Bengals. I think Ohio is going to be a battleground this year. Cleveland 1 and Pittsburgh 2.
In honor of my best friend Henry Logan back in Ohio, who's been a suffering Browns fan for our entire lives, it's your year, man. This is your year. They've steadily gotten better and better and better, and I'm not seeing those negative texts and tweets from the Browns fans. They're really excited. You got that right. They're one of the best rosters in the division. They're also one of the best rosters in all of the NFL.
They really are.
And it comes down to quarterback play. Coaching, we've seen. If last year was not an anomaly, coaching's pretty good. They finally got a decent coach in there. I'm going Cleveland number 1. I am going with the Ravens reluctantly number 2.
I don't hate the Ravens. And by the way, but here's the only reason I took Pittsburgh.
I just wanted to say the Ravens. I should have said Lamar number 2.
I don't hate it. Problem is, for me, the reason I can't pick Baltimore there, second toughest schedule in the NFL. Tough schedule. And I don't think they have a pass rusher on that team that is going to keep up with Joey B if he's healthy, Baker either way. Even Big Ben dropped 25 pounds this offseason.
Yeah, he looks good.
I'm not going to say he's going to be a motor guy
this
year.
He got old last year. You don't just get younger by dropping weight.
No, you absolutely don't. You are absolutely correct. But he looks significantly better than he did last year. Finally, we wrap up our prediction central in the AFC West. The Broncos, your defending NFL Super Bowl runners-up, the Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Chargers. I don't think we need to spend a whole bunch of time on Kansas City winning this division ultimately. So I think our only question here is who checks in second.
And for me, it is the Chargers. I think you got a quarterback who got in there last year because there was a bad needle in the starting quarterback, and then people got really surprised about how good he was, and he was really, really good.
Yep.
I think the Chargers are going to come on pretty strong. They are number 2. And now go ahead and spout your madness again. Madness.
I think Denver. I think Denver comes in second in that division. I think.
Hey, I forgot. You talked about this earlier, but I can't remember. Who is their starting quarterback again?
Drew Lock. Their backup, Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy BH2O, baby. Teddy BH2O. Who did you pick second? I completely blanked on who you just said.
The Chargers.
That's right. That's right. The San Diego Superchargers.
They're not in San Diego.
Yeah, they're the San Diego
Where are they?
Superchargers.
Or I don't. They're somewhere in
The
California.
LA Chargers, bro.
I think. Yeah.
Denver's got a better defense than I think anybody that's not Kansas City within that division. I think that the Chargers are good, but I don't think they're over the hump yet. And the Chargers' toughest games are all on the road. All on the road. Their road schedule is absolutely brutal this year. They're going to be good probably next year, but they got to go to Washington, to Baltimore, to Philly, all within the first 9 weeks. It's not that those are good teams, but those are three of the toughest stadiums in the NFL to play in, and you got a second-year guy quarterbacking. Denver is a good defense, and I think they're going to shock some people this year. I got the Broncos in second. So, your NFL divisional predictions. In the NFC South, I've got Tampa Bay, so does Lonzo. I've got Atlanta coming in second. Lonzo's taking New Orleans. In the NFC East, I've got Washington, followed by Dallas, I guess. He's got Dallas winning the division and the Giants in second. In the NFC North, we're both picking Green Bay first, Chicago second. In the NFC West, I've got the LA Rams, followed by the Seattle Seahawks. Lonzo's taking San Francisco, followed by the LA Rams. In the AFC South, Lonzo's taking Tennessee and the Trevor Lawrence-led Jacksonville Jaguars to get the silver medal. I've got Tennessee and Indy 1-2 in the AFC South. In the AFC East, I've got Buffalo just barely edging out the New England Patriots. Flip those around for Lonzo, Patriots over the Bills. In the AFC North, we're both taking C-Town Believeland to win the division. Pittsburgh comes in second, according to yours truly. Lonzo has Baltimore at the number 2 spot in the AFC West. No shock that we both take Kansas City. I got Denver pulling up second place. Lonzo taking San Diego. Our picks are in. They are on the prep sheet so that we can come back in 21 weeks and see how we did. Math is hard. Twitter trending topics up next to wrap it up on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
I didn't respond because I knew my mic wasn't on.
Thursday, chance for storms, high 93, chance for storms, high 94, and chance for rain for the weekend. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Bucci, ESPN Upstate. Currently, it's 94.
Hey, high school football fans, it's Cole Bryson, the voice of the Burns Rebels. August is here, and so is the start of another exciting season. Join me for Burns Rebel football Friday night, August 20th, as the Rebels take on the Greer Yellow Jackets. Every play, every game, all season long on ESPN Upstate and on the Odyssey app. The Burns Rebels, powered by your local Ingalls Market. 97.7 FM in Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
According to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply. 82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to know is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Y'all gonna be surprised when the Jets win it all. Not as surprised as you are when you come off those drugs and realize what you said publicly.
For the ones going above and beyond. For the ones reaching out, helping out, and lending a hand. For the ones people count on. You can count on Grainger. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry.
All right, we are on the board for projections.
And specialists to help with hard-to-find products. Because you've got everyone's back. We've got yours.
Rob just got confronted by the boss in the restroom. The boss is a Dallas Cowboys fan.
I'm like going to the bathroom and hearing your boss's voice come over your shoulder.
Warren Webb, Senior Vice President of Talent Acquisition for Mind People Health, brings about ZipRecruiter's invite to apply. That's because we have a much higher follow-through rate if I invite candidates. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/KELLERMAN. Try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Kellerman. 5G is here. But the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more. Because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide. With plans starting at just $35 a month. With no Samsung Galaxy A33 $199. All on America's best ever. 5G coverage, 5G phone. That's more. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Your camera, now you stay.
This report is sponsored by SmartMouth, the only 24-hour mouthwash with twice daily use. Date night. You check your texts, your hair, your smile. But wait, did you check your breath? Get SmartMouth, the only mouthwash that provides 24 hours of fresh breath with just 2 rinses a day. Find SmartMouth in the mouthwash aisle at Walmart or get 20% off at smartmouth.com/radio.
It's time for Twitter Trending Topics, where I tell Rob what's trending on the internet. He tells everybody exactly what is trending on the internet. Should always start the show the way and finish it the way we started. Hey, man, you know, you've been all right. All right, so the first thing trending is my. Well, I always sound that way.
You know what I love about Blossom? You know, she genuinely is a PhD, like neurobiologist.
She actually is. She is a nerd.
She's not just a nerd. She's
smart
a
nerd.
genius.
Yes,
like a
that.
literal, actual, for real genius, and also Blossom. Is it weird? Is it weird that I find her more attractive because of that?
No, that's not weird.
She's great. She's a genius. She's brilliant.
Okay, so why is she trending?
I don't know why she's trending.
All right, here's why she's trending. It looks like the Jeopardy hosts have been picked, and she's one of them. She is going to split time with Mike Richards.
All right, so I have a bigger problem with Mike Richards than Mian Bialik. All right, a bigger problem. Mike Richards, you know who Mike Richards is? You don't. Let me tell you. Mike Richards is the freaking executive producer of Jeopardy. Mike Richards is the guy who makes the decision about who is the host of Jeopardy. And he's like, after a long, exhaustive process where we have seen superstars come through, where we have seen legends of screen and film come through, where we have seen charismatic geniuses like Ken Jennings come through. Ladies and gentlemen, after exhaustive research into who should be the next host of Jeopardy, I have decided that it is me. Dude, Lonzo, every heel bad guy one time in his life gets the opportunity to decide who the next challenger for the belt is from anybody in the universe, and they all have that moment of, I've looked at this guy. I know this guy. I trust this guy. My pick to challenge you at SummerSlam is me.
You know.
Triple H.
All right. Yeah. So you do sound like McMahon. I get it. And I get why there's, some people not liking it. Okay. One last thing. She and Skip Bayless went at it today to the point where she's trending because.
Did she slap him?
No, but they.
So Skip Bayless sucks, and I don't like him. So there's that. How did the GM you named yourself the host of Jeopardy? Ladies and gentlemen, I've decided to pick a new host of the Rob Brown Show, and it's me. See you tomorrow right back here with Lonzo, Rob, and you on ESPN Upstate. Later, brother. I gotta watch Hard Knocks tonight. I knew I forgot something last night. All right, on the stream. Appreciate you watching. See y'all tomorrow. All right, Lester.
This is really long.
I'm Christine Lisi. 5 years after firing Coach Art Riles amid multiple sexual assault allegations in the football program, Baylor was punished by the NCAA, but not for those allegations. Baylor was placed on 4 years probation and handed other recruiting restrictions, but the Bears were not banned from playing in this upcoming postseason.
Come on back tomorrow,
discipline based on other violations related to impermissible benefits and improper recruiting practices.
No, I can't stop yelling. Haven't you